Investments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
A reprieve in court for Harvard. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. For now, Harvard University will be allowed to keep enrolling international students.
Harvard was quick to sue the Trump administration after the Department of Homeland Security eliminated the school's ability to enroll foreign students. A federal judge in Boston has blocked the administration's order, saying the institution would sustain immediate and irreparable injury and the status quo should be preserved until a hearing. That hearing is now set for Tuesday.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. The administration already appealing the temporary injunction. The Homeland Security chief accuses Harvard officials of creating an unsafe environment by allowing pro-terrorist agitators to harass Jewish students. Harvard says it's made changes in its governance and has a broad strategy to combat anti-Semitism. Several European countries still offering hope for a trade deal with the U.S., including Italy, France, and Poland, after a new tariff threat.
President Trump is proposing a 50% tariff on products from the European Union starting June 1st. Products from European companies made in the U.S. would be exempt.
I hope this 50% tariff on EU exports is mostly a negotiating tool.
Economist John Lonsky tells Fox Business tariff threats are raising uncertainty for businesses and consumers.
Fox's Jenny Cosola. President Trump says talks with the EU have been going nowhere. Billy Joel just canceling all upcoming concerts because of a health issue. It's called normal pressure hydrocephalus, when fluid builds up in or around the brain. A social media post says recent shows have made the condition worse, leading to problems with hearing, vision, and balance, and that Joel is now undergoing specific physical therapy and looking forward to the day when he can once again take the stage. In the meantime, they are issuing refunds. America is listening to Fox News.
Trust Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 20% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's a pretty Friday afternoon as we go with sunny skies and pretty nice temperatures, though below average, 71 for the high. A couple of showers well after midnight tonight. Nothing for the evening, 55. Saturday, a mix of clouds and sunshine, a couple of showers, but plenty of dry time on Saturday, 68. It's cool Sunday and Monday. The high temperature each day, 64, with some scattered showers. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty, that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Just a reminder to have your air conditioner checked for the summer so you don't have a mishap and it goes down in the hottest day of the year. But it's always best to have it done. Call us, and we'll be more than happy to come out there and check it for you. And like always, if you're having your furnace checked by another company and you are told that this is the year you need to replace it, call me for a second opinion. The 0% interest is still available on most brands. Save your cash and keep your credit cards open and away from those high rates. Call me. You'll be glad you did. Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest. It is 314-293-2600. Or on the website, bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I. walmart.com. God bless.
Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you self-conscious? Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
I'm throwing stuff. I haven't even done anything yet on the show today, and I'm throwing tape dispensers.
You could have played that off. We didn't have to start the show like
I
this.
missed
him
too. Your eyes made it so that I had to say something. Happy Friday. Feels like a Friday. Feels like a Memorial Day weekend Friday. Do you spend Memorial Day weekend doing anything very intentionally to acknowledge those that we lost fighting for freedom?
Oddly, the intentional stuff I do is all here. So making, reverent promos and things like that. But as of the day and the weekend, not really. It's all done by Friday.
What about you, Brad?
Intentionally, like at our church, we set up a specific Memorial Day service, and so I would say that service is.
And your church is near Scott.
Yeah, our church is near Scott. Last night, my pastor went out and put out all the American flags along the front, and usually we have a member of our community that has served, that they come in and they talk about what it means to serve and that sort of thing. And then, the whole service is around sacrifice and giving. It's crazy how that dovetails into Christianity.
I was just gonna say, it sounds like Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm trying to juggle a whole lot of things right now. I just got a text message from my son who has had this week off. He's out of school a week earlier than my husband, who's a teacher, and the girls. And he has had a bad habit of, if he leaves to go somewhere during the day, he's got to practice or something like that. He leaves and he leaves through the garage door, and he just leaves the garage door right open.
Oh.
That's frustrating. Like a handful of times. I just got a text from him because he's going to the Y to work out with his buddies, and then I think they're going to play some baseball. And I just got a text. It was 2 text messages. The first one is just left home, and then there was a follow-up, and I closed the garage door.
Good for him.
To be 15.
There's 2 things here. One is that when you said you're juggling a lot of things, and then I realized that it was metaphorical, I was super disappointed.
I tried to do the tape dispenser.
Because I was really looking for some bowling pins or some sort
juggle.
of light up
Tennis
neon
balls.
balls.
Or baseballs.
Really?
Yeah.
How many?
3.
All right, that's considered juggling.
That's
because I can do 2.
That's entry level. I bet you can't.
I can.
Memorial Day weekend for us has always been marked by we have an annual day before Memorial Day picnic and softball game that has been happening since I was in grade school with some dear family friends of ours. And it just grows every year. The basic rule that they've said is, like, if you've been invited before, you're invited again. So it's a kind of a reunion of sorts. But they always acknowledge during that event, like, everybody lines up they spray paint foul lines and stuff and put a field in this baseball field in this field that they have. And everybody lines up and we sing God Bless America, I think. Everybody does. And it's a whole bunch of generations of people. They acknowledge veterans that are there. And it's interesting to me that when this started, the father of the person who throws this party actually participated in the Battle of the Bulge.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And he's no longer with us. But there were 1, 2, 3, definitely 3 generations of veterans who would be there And we're probably getting kind of close to people who could be enlisted right now in that fourth generation. My son would be fourth generation, and he's 15. So we're getting kind of close to that. And I just want to have a discussion about this. I'm not criticizing, but I've been criticized for this. If on Memorial Day or Memorial Day weekend, you acknowledge people who are veterans, there's always people who are like, Memorial Day isn't for veterans. Now, it's really important to understand the difference between Memorial Day as an acknowledged remembrance of something specific. Comparing that to Veterans Day is they're different intentions. However, I always reply like, yes, correct. Memorial Day is for those who laid their lives down for this country, who lost their lives, paid the ultimate sacrifice to ensure that we get to enjoy this kind of freedom in our country. That is the intention of Memorial Day. But is it ever wrong to take a moment and acknowledge and show gratitude towards veterans?
No. And I don't know. I get that we have a separate Veterans Day and Memorial Day. I get that. Totally understand.
I wouldn't fail to acknowledge those who have given their lives. I saw somebody on Twitter, maybe in the last 24 hours, which is amazing because Twitter's not working, say something about this delineation of the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. And they said, Memorial Day is to acknowledge the people who didn't live to become veterans. And I thought, well, that's kind of impactful because if you die in service, then do you only get veteran status after you retire? I'm sure there are technical terms to it that probably have to do with like benefits and stuff. But I feel like if you've served a tour of duty or if you've signed up and gone to boot camp, I understand that in the measured sense that you might not be a veteran. But in my mind, if you haven't been called into battle, but you've put yourself in a position to be stationed somewhere because you've signed up, it's like I'm just grateful for all of these people. Memorial Day is the ultimate price that can be paid for those individuals who have signed up. And I do think it's important to remember that and to acknowledge that. And I just want to be able to extend, in addition to that acknowledgement, like a limitless amount of thank you to the people who have signed up. Especially, Ryan, I don't know if I've ever asked you this, but do you know people who signed up after 9/11?
Yes, I do.
I said I just watched that really, really crappy 2001 movie of Pearl Harbor. In one scene in Pearl Harbor, we watched it with my oldest two kids. In one scene in Pearl Harbor, all these men are in the water after the attack, and they're, trying to stay afloat. The attack's still going on. One of them is clinging to some sort of debris to stay head above water, and the service member is saying, "I can't swim, I can't swim." And my son goes, "Why are you in the Navy if you can't swim?" And, my response is, the difference between the people who were taken from their lives after World War I into World War II, who were told, you are going to serve. Here's your draft number. This is what you're going to do. It's not the same as today, where people say, you know what, I want to do this. I see the benefit for me, and I see the importance of the mission for the country, and I'm going to sign up, and I'm going to do this. Might be something that is running in the family. Might be something that I think for a lot of people, the military allows people to take a hard fork in the road and go a different direction than the path was leading them down, and they decide, I'm going to do this, and it can change the course of their history, certainly. But gosh, if you think back to when you watch these movies that give us an artistic glimpse, that movie was so bad. Pearl Harbor is so bad. But I mean, when you're seeing this scene and you're seeing what these people went through to serve their country and how they were enlisted, and knowing that those generations before us, they got into something and their lives they knew right away that their lives were on the line. Before 9/11, there were a lot of people, I mean, there's Desert Storm and stuff. There's always been conflicts. There always been conflicts that exist that if you sign up, you're always taking a risk. But there are some times where if you join the military at this time or that time in the course of American history, that risk might go up a little bit, and you know that going in. My husband, who is a history teacher and just really loves American history and could talk forever about it, pointed out, while we were watching the Pearl Harbor movie, they're under attack. They have no idea that this attack is coming. They're completely not ready. They collected all of our military assets into like one small space so that they could be protected, which actually was the reason why it was so devastating, is because our fleet was like just clustered in this one place. But the movie does a good job of depicting the level of fight that existed in the men and women who served at Pearl Harbor, but, also specifically in World War II. Like, this generation just would not stop fighting. In the midst that they would not stop fighting, the circumstances they would not stop fighting in, I don't think we know, even though we've seen 9/11 and we know people that are very dear to us who have gone to the Middle East, to Iraq, to Afghanistan, to some of these other places where conflict has seen American boots on the ground. That idea of like, we can't stop fighting. There is no option. We will do what we have to do. Gosh, we've squeezed that out of culture so much. And yet we still have millennials like ourselves that experienced 9/11 at a very formative time in our lives. Mid-teens, late teens, maybe early 20s. There are so many people who are our generation who saw that happen and go, I'm signing up tomorrow. And they did, and they served. And, I was not alive during the Vietnam conflict, and I've heard so many stories. I've been to the Vietnam Memorial. I understand how conflicted the United States was over the participation in that war and how despicably those people who served in that war were treated when they came home. I don't know what the comparisons are, and maybe there's no comparison whatsoever about the treatment of those who served in Vietnam. That was a very outward, open, kind of acceptable thing in an unbelievable way to treat those people that way. But I'm very concerned about the people who are really my age and my generation who served in Afghanistan, who participated in something that a lot of people have come after the fact and said, I don't think we should have done any of that. I don't think we should have been there at all. It would be very burdensome to have participated in that, signed up in service to your country, and then to come back and, hindsight is 2020 to hear that be discussed. I think that there are many people who are my age who are being underappreciated for their service. I don't think that we look at those people who signed up after 9/11. We think back to World War II and it's the greatest generation, and they deserve every bit of that admiration and more. But I think we actually have evidence of another generation who watched planes run into a building, crumble it to the ground, crash into our Pentagon. Heroes on Flight 93 crash a plane in Pennsylvania, and they said, I am going to fight, and I'm going to fight for this country. And we kind of have this, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of quiet. There are people listening right now who lost people, who are acknowledging Memorial Day this weekend. And it's, sometimes it feels a little Hollywood. It feels like a movie story to think about, the Hollywood treatment of a battle, like when you're watching Ben Affleck, essentially, like I said, according to that Pearl Harbor movie, win World War II in Doolittle's run. It just seems like we forget how actually real and raw and permanent the trauma of war can be. And does it feel like that at all to you, Ryan, where war kind of on the surface seems like an old-timey thing? Like that's my reflexive initial thought is like war is like, oh, World War II. It's this kind of old type of battle that is not at all how battle and war is engaged in right now.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to say because you're going, well, there's still boots on the ground. I mean, we're talking about people who've lost their lives in wars in our lifetime, certainly in the Iraq War, just recently in Afghanistan. So it's not as if there's no boots on the ground, but it's that war has shifted so much to being about intelligence. It's about, the Space Force and, the technology has just changed what war is. It's information wars in a lot of ways.
My husband said when we were watching Pearl Harbor and he's trying to do like historical education to my kids who are open to it. They like that when he does that. The Japanese are flying into Pearl Harbor and, everybody knows the word kamikaze mostly from Pearl Harbor. And the understanding was you're to hit your target. And after you hit your target, you become the next missile. If you miss your target, you continue on it, and you will do that for your country. And in that culture, it was embraced like, yeah, that's what I do for my country. There's a shot in the movie where the Japanese pilot is coming into Pearl Harbor, and of course it shows like right up there next to on his dash, a picture of his daughter. Oh, like it's so devastating to see that. And he's the bad guy. But my husband was pointing out, like, these people had such a commitment to, like, in one way or shape or form, like a government structure, an all-powerful being that rules the people, that they could say, this is what you will do for your country. And they just say, yes, sir. And I said, it's really not very different than what we have seen with the radical terrorists that have existed really for us for now 25 years. And even before that. But the way terror has been implemented back into our culture is with people who go on suicide missions. They run into somewhere, they blow themselves up, they blow a car up, they crash a plane. Like, we've seen people doing that like you could say that that the Twin Towers, I mean, that's a kamikaze mission. What's old is new, and we still in this country. It's graduation time right now. People right now who are signing up for service because high school is just completed. They're 18 and they're making a decision to go fight for their country. I really think it's an indication. I don't want to bring politics into this, but you do see the defense secretary has made a lot of changes with our military, that there is something about our country right now that has a resurgence of people saying, I want to sign up for that. There's something about America that people continue to want to sign up and risk their lives to preserve. And it goes all the way back, honestly, to our, founding fathers that led people who were willing to die for an idea that hadn't even been put into place yet, that now we're this far in. What is it, 250 years and 26? Mm-hmm. We're 250 years into it, which is a really long time, but not like as far as nations go. And, the idea of make America great again, if you've ever said that phrase, if you've ever donned that phrase, you have to accept that America is or has been great. We've been missing that politically, but we are not missing it culturally. People still, on both sides of the aisle, Republicans and Democrats alike, sign up to serve in the military, sign up to give their lives to fight for this country. And because we have these ideological differences in a free country, you can have a military that when you're on the battlefield, it doesn't matter who you vote for. You're fighting for the same common cause, the same common goal, the pursuit of the same common successes. And we still have that in our country. And I think it's really simple to overlook that. We can talk about politics. I could do segments today about how Donald Trump is making America great again, and it's a great time to celebrate Memorial Day. That kind of makes me nauseous to even think about doing that. So I want to just make sure that we do acknowledge it's the Memorial Day holiday. One of my favorite weekends of the year. Welcome summer, school's out, barbecues, cold drinks, pool time. And I mean, to me, that's as Americana as it gets. You're with the people you love, doing things comfortably, feeling incredibly safe in a country that you love. And there's the moment to pause and say, This freedom that we have, cliche, did not come without a price. It is not free. It actually has an enormous price. And to those who have laid down their lives for their friends here in this country to make sure that we could preserve this for their families, for the people who they love, for the people who they don't even know, for the people who they disagree with on every basic political policy, for the people they hate. If they're in America, these people still sign up, and that freedom gets to be enjoyed by everybody alike in this country as long as we're willing to preserve it. It is ours if we can keep it. And as great as the greatest generation is, they've laid down really an expectation for generations to follow. And I have to say, I think that the generations to follow have done a really great job. We know people, you know people in every generation who have signed up. It didn't matter how much the country loved them and appreciated them and showered them with praise, or didn't, or don't. They knew what they signed. They knew the risk of what they signed up for, and they fought for their country. And I think it's a important moment in time this weekend to not stop and don't stop enjoying your Memorial Day weekend. You don't have to have a somber Memorial Day weekend. I mean, honestly, you should America as hard as you possibly can and be grateful for the people who have given everything to make that possible. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I was going to take phone calls. I might set that up when we come back. We might take phone calls a little bit later in the show. Our YouTube poll for today: who communicates better, men or women? Spawning off of Ryan Wiggins' America yesterday. Is this an obvious answer?
No.
No.
No,
This is a
it's not.
divider of people.
And I haven't even decided how I would answer this.
All right. Well, we'll discuss that here throughout the course of the show. Leave us a comment on the Annie Frye YouTube channel. Last time I checked, I don't know, yesterday, Brad said we needed 9 people on our subscribers on YouTube to get to 12,000. I haven't checked. Can we get 9 people today? Some of you out there have like 8 extra Google accounts. Just help us out. Annie Frye YouTube channel. Go vote in the poll. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frye Show. The Annie Frye Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
First you both go out your way and the vibe is feeling strong, and what's small turn to a friendship turn.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is online at igotfloored.com. If you are shopping this weekend for flooring, I want you to make sure Michael's gets an opportunity to earn your business. You can start that whole process on their website at igotfloored.com with requesting an estimate. You could just kind of browse through the different types of products that they have. Depends on what your job is and where your job is. Is it at your house? Because Michael's Flooring Outlet is a leader in the St. Louis area and a family-owned operated business for residential flooring. They have amazing installers. They're going to work to make sure you are fully satisfied with the price you pay, the value you get, and the installation that you will brag about. But they also do commercial business. So if you have a flooring purchase in your near future, you can check out their online shop where you can go through and see what they have. You can read reviews as well from people just like you who have chosen to work with Michael's Flooring Outlet. Read their real-time experiences. You go to igotfloored.com. You can check out the Smart Strand Mohawk Silk line of carpet if you're looking for an exceptional line of carpeting for your new home. igotfloored.com.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're gonna be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TRADE25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TRADE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TRADE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code TRADE25.
Mizzou football is here to stay. After an undefeated home season and a second straight 10-win year, the
Tigers are looking for more in 2025.
Eli and the boys have done it again.
With a top 10 transfer portal class and a strong home schedule highlighted by Kansas, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, you don't want to miss out. Get your spot in line by joining the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
When disaster strikes, the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis is there. Tornadoes have left families displaced and communities in crisis, but you can help. The Urban League Tornado Disaster Relief Humanitarian Fund provides emergency shelter, food, clothing, and critical support to those affected. Your donation brings hope when it's needed most. Visit ulstl.com to donate. That's ulstl.com. Stand with us. Stand for St. Louis.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Time to schedule your air conditioner service. Get your entire HVAC system checked for $19 a month with the preferred partner plan and be ready for the first heat wave. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Waiting for the time to pass you by. Hope the winds of change will change your mind. I could give 1,000 reasons why, and I know you, and you've got to make it on your own, but we don't have to grow up, we can stay forever young. Living on my sofa, drinking rum and cola underneath the rising sun. I could give 1,000 reasons why, but you're gone.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
So The Hill is a publication that you would consider, like, that's not, The Hill isn't really like a new publication that's trying to throw shock stuff out there to get people in.
I would say the opposite.
Yeah.
They're
like,
trying to
boring.
not get your attention.
They're like, we're a publication that likes to lay low. Don't really want people to know what we're doing over here.
You know what? They actively, a couple years ago, I remember The Hill actively had to tell people, no, we really try hard not to be considered conservative because we don't make a lot of waves.
I don't kind of respect that, though.
Well, you would, except that they I think they put a slant on their articles to
What year
a little
was that?
to the left.
Was that in like 2019, 2020 when it was like culturally unacceptable to not be a fan of the Summer of Love? Is that mostly peaceful protest
It probably
time?
was around that.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Yes.
That would make sense.
Yeah, that's part of the 15 Pieces of Flair.
Yes.
That I always refer to for people who are just more interested. Like, if you have to put a pin on your lapel for people to know what you stand for because your character doesn't say enough, you're not doing it right. I like that.
You like that phrase that you just said?
Well, no, I just feel like people should know you by the fruits of your labor. You shouldn't have to be a NASCAR billboard for hate has no home here. What did you hear? I don't know. I don't get it.
I like what you're saying too, mainly because it sounds a lot like something Jesus said. People will know you by the fruit that you bear.
Yeah. I had a web design business in like 20. Well, I don't know. It was right when Charlie was born, and it was called Bear Fruit.
Bear fruit?
Yeah, and it was a paw with a apple in it. That was my logo.
It's very, very memorable.
Yeah, Colossians 1:10, I think maybe. I don't know. It's a verse about bearing fruit.
Mm-hmm.
That's not why I'm talking about The Hill.
In The Hill, yeah. Let's talk about The Hill.
China has an off switch for America, and we aren't ready to deal with it.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that headline, and I'm like, oh, that's crazy. The Hill? These people don't make waves.
Yeah, that's right.
Come again? Okay, so it's from Jace Wilson, who is an opinion contributor. So take that for... It says at the top, the views expressed by contributors are their own and not the view of The Hill. Imagine waking up tomorrow and your phone has no signal, your smart home isn't working, your Ring camera is offline, you get in the car, but your GPS won't route. Worse, every traffic light in town is out, intersections are a mess of blaring horns and confusion, sirens echo in the distance. You drive to an ATM, hoping to grab some cash. The screen flickers, then goes black. Be odd that if it happened just when you tried to get money out. It's not just your neighborhood. It's not just your state. The entire nation has gone dark. The scenario is digital darkness caused by China's off switch for America. It is the penultimate step in China's strategy to defeat America before gunning for global control. The implication here is that if technology was made in China, that there, and you can go to my X feed, Annie Fry Show, F-R-U-Y, Annie Fry Show on X, and you can read the opinion article by Jace Wilson here. But the idea is that China has established firmware in all of the technology they've manufactured that they can turn it off. And America is screwed. How do you feel?
I don't believe it.
No?
I don't believe it.
You think this is Star Wars for China?
I'm not saying that this couldn't exist.
And by Star Wars, I mean like Ronald Reagan Star Wars.
This could
not
exist
Jar Jar Binks.
in some things. I don't think this could exist in everything.
Well, there's a numerical list of specific things, starting with tactical electromagnetic pulse, EMP, tactical weapons. China develops tactical EMP weapons that can disable entire regions by targeting civilian infrastructure America relies on to function. These compact pulse generators can hover above unprotected data centers, destroying electronics inside with pinpoint electromagnetic blasts. Several dozen well-coordinated EMP strikes could wipe out cloud infrastructure, disrupting America's power, transportation, communications, and financial systems nationwide. We talk about EMPs. Yeah. I am rabbit hole obsessed with EMPs.
So we're back to it would take targeted EMPs, though.
No, that's point one. That's one way. It's not to be left out.
I don't want to scoop maybe something that's in this story or whatever, but back in Trump's first term as president, they found a back door to a piece of equipment that they were shipping over from China that goes into the power grid in certain substations. And that substation had a back door to China where China could go in there and turn it off, and that would kill the entire grid that piece of equipment was in. The Trump administration said, nope, stop it. We're not taking any more of theirs. I think there were only about 40 or 50 at the time that came in. The Biden administration.
Point number 4, cyber attacks. China's cyber weapons are the most deeply embedded assassin's mace. Just this week, U.S. investigators uncovered rogue communication devices hidden in Chinese-made solar inverters and batteries. I think this is what you're talking about. Similar technology. Yeah. Such undocumented components can bypass firewalls, allowing China to remotely monitor. They're all like, they're still paying attention to TikTok. Monitor, destabilize, and disable critical infrastructure. Chinese-made chips, routers, and switches embedded throughout the United States networks contain dormant firmware that, upon activation, could place critical U.S. infrastructure under CCP command. Thoughts?
The first person that needs to read this article is Rand Paul. Then all the Democrats. Then we should talk about tariffs again.
Ryan rips his shirt off and his chest just says tariffs.
Mm-hmm. But that was before Trump.
He's a tariff guy. Point 2. That was 4. You did scoop it, but that was good. Good segue here. Point 2. This one freaks me out. Deep sea fiber cuts. Over 95% of global internet traffic travels through undersea fiber cables. China recently unveiled deep-sea cable cutters capable of severing cables at extreme depths. Recent disruptions near Taiwan and the Baltic Sea suggest these tools are already in use. Cutting a few lines disrupts global communications instantly and fractures U.S. military coordination.
Well, I would hope that our military knows this is true. The problem is,
I don't know. I don't know if the Hills made enough waves to get to them.
I think that we have such a big defense department, obviously. We spend more on defense than any country in the world. That you would hope that this is all well known by our DOD. Now, I don't believe that the leadership of all of these agencies has been great under every administration either. So there could be holes in it, which is why I think that it's possible that overall we could be semi-safe from this. That they would pick up, like Brad said, the stuff they found it. That's good. A lot of this stuff, if we're reading about it in the Hill, you'd hope that the DOD already knows about it.
Number 3, which is the last point because we already did number 4, anti-satellite weapons. As America stockpiles low Earth orbit satellites, China expands its anti-satellite arsenal to include missiles, parasitic satellites, and lasers designed to disable or destroy orbital assets. In March of 2025, the U.S. Space Force reported that Chinese satellites performed aggressive dogfighting maneuvers in orbit.
What?
This capability allows China to carry out precise strikes designed to trigger the dreaded Kessler Cascade, which it looks like I could read more about, but I'm a little nervous about that right now. A chain reaction of satellite collisions capable of destroying all low Earth orbit satellites within days, crippling the internet, communications, and surveillance systems.
That one scares me the most of any of those 4 points because I've never heard of anything like that.
You're like, well, if the Hill's writing about it, then obviously the Department of Defense knows about it. I'm thinking, not only do I want the Department of Defense to know about it, I want to be able to do all of this stuff to China. But we can't do that if we, like, when it comes to chips and technology, like physical hardware that we import from China. I kind of wonder, it just makes this little part of my brain tickle a little bit about all of the effort that Donald Trump is doing to bring chip manufacturing here. Joe Biden had the CHIPS Act. From what I understand, I don't know everything about the CHIPS Act. I know the people I trust didn't like the CHIPS Act, but a lot of times it's like they tried to do something that would have ultimately ended in a positive thing, but the way they went about it was really ridiculous. I'm not here to talk yay or nay about the CHIPS Act. But it seems as though there might be bipartisan support for the idea of making that stuff here and not having to rely on enemies to be creating all of the things that we rely on to function as a society. And it seems to me like Donald Trump knows that and is more public about it. Did Joe Biden know that? I don't know if he knew what he had for breakfast. But this can't be brand new information. And I can only imagine what it's like to be somebody, and we got a lot of people listening right now who work at Boeing and know things and have known things. I know somebody who worked for Boeing, then McDonnell Douglas, growing up. And it was probably 12 years ago. I was sitting with him and he goes, all I know is that my children and their grandchildren are going to be safe. And I was like, well, thanks for telling me that. I've always kind of leaned on that. But with the rapid pace with which technology improves, and now with the at least public-facing side of artificial intelligence being part of the game, I just got to think that the exponential increase of technology is going to be too much for us to bear as like a human race. Mm-hmm. And I've always said this before. I think that this is crazy. I know this is crazy, but like I said, I think about EMPs. 1 second after, if you don't know what an EMP is and you like good novels and good stories, dramatic stories, 1 second after is a great book about what happens after an EMP. I've read it twice. But I always think if an EMP happens, it's going to be the United States government using it against the United States to stop the robots. Like the only way to defeat the technology is to do something that will. It's like the only way to preserve civilization. Has that movie been made yet? It should be. It'd be better than Pearl Harbor.
That is
2001.
Literally the plot of my book.
Is it?
Yeah. Where they use the government uses the EMP on its own people to stop the robots.
Yeah.
Chapter 3.
There you go. It's called The Grocery List.
No, not that one. You can buy that one too, though, I guess, if you want to. I don't know.
He's like, it's hilarious. You read it when you're on the toilet. What's it called?
The Life of Human. It is surprisingly funny for being a thriller.
Kind of like you.
I'll wear that.
Be or not the bee. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Your hands on my
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan, positioning you for the best possible financial setup for the mortgage that you are looking to acquire. I trust Stewie. First and foremost, if you trust me, if you trust my word, I want to tell you, as a customer of Stewie's, he's the first person I would go to and do go to with any sort of mortgage questions. And the Bagel Loan is exactly what I tell you it is. You get to get that loan, whatever your qualifying low rate is going to be. You're going to get that with Stewie. When you work with him, he's going to make sure that you're positioned to get the best possible deal. But when you use the Bagel Loan, you don't pay closing costs. They don't come up later. You don't finance them. They don't get tucked away and then they show up at a later time. You get to get your new mortgage for your new house or a refinance on the current mortgage you have, even if you want to do a cash out, and pay $0 in closing costs. Folks, it is as good as it sounds. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Call him, Google the Bagel Loan, and MLS number 226715.
When's the last time you gave your home's exterior a little love? Hi, it's Kim, and if your siding is cracking, it's fading, or just doesn't stand up to our St. Louis weather, it's time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design because they're experts in James Hardy siding, which is this durable, low-maintenance option, and it looks beautiful. Plus, you have customizable colors and textures, and so you can give your home a completely new look while protecting it for decades. Don't wait until the small problems turn into big ones. Visit lakesidearty.com to schedule your free consultation.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholtz of Kaufman Townsley. Victim of a car accident? Not choosing the best lawyer will cost you. But here's the good news. Since you don't pay unless we win, you can afford the very best. Kaufman Townsley. Call 314-500-5000.
Lifestyles Unlimited member Lisa on how our educators and mentors share their knowledge.
The whole Lifestyles Unlimited team is just wonderful, and all the people in it is basically copying what I do so you could be successful.
Lifestyles Unlimited. Over 33 years teaching the real estate retirement roadmap. Text the word radio to 88007. That's radio to 88007. Join for just $297 and save 60%. Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007.
Annie Fry is standing right next to me. It's a little awkward. She's going to get tested right now. 97.1 is partnering with Guns and Hoses and with
Dave Mungenass St. Louis Honda.
Dave Mungenass St. Louis Honda to help those most in need right now, because there's all kinds of things that we are collecting for tornado victims in our area, and they're going to stay right here and be distributed as needed. So if you want to see the whole list, bottled water is, of course, one of the main ones, non-perishable foods, but there's a whole list that you can get at
971talk.com.
971talk.com.
Where is it on the page?
It's just on the homepage. 971talk.com.
I used to run that one.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. So you can go see the full list of things, but I mean, really, you know the kind of stuff that you can drop off at Dave Mungenass St. Louis Honda anytime. I think it's Monday through Saturday, so not Sunday, any other day, 9 to 6. And it all will be distributed by area first responders to those in need. And let us know if you need any more information. 971talk.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
I'll help you do the time check.
The Mark Reardon Show.
And they're trying to make it seem now, oh, we had no idea. You got Jim Clyburn going on saying, I never saw Biden in a moment like that. Well, then you weren't looking. You weren't paying any attention to what was happening in the country.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Yo, VIP.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. I sit back with my brand new
Wiggins. Oh, Wiggins.
The Bee or Not the Bee.
Hello, everyone. This is the Bee or Not the Bee for Wiggins America on Friday, as we always do. These are stories that are either fake from the Babylon Bee or they are real, and you have to tell me which is which. Here's the first one. Diddy did drugs shaped like Obama.
Oh, man.
I think that's real, and I think you just put something together for me because I've seen these things on Twitter that might have happened the day I was sick and slept all day, and it was like, you're gone for Twitter for 24 hours, and you don't get any of the jokes. Is this real? Please tell me this is real.
I think this one's real, too.
Well, I was going to say real, but now I'm going to say the B just to be different.
Thank
and
you,
special.
Ethan. You're
welcome.
wrong.
This takes so much pleasure in that, Ryan.
This is real. Diddy did drugs shaped like Obama's face. So there were the actual federal court drug evidence logs say that he had pills called Red Obama and Green Obama, and there's pictures of them, and they look like little Obama faces, and they're ecstasy. There were various pills, but one was in the form of former president's face.
I thought that when I saw all these, they were like animal crackers.
No. These were little Obama faces, and they were X. On X, you probably saw it. President Obama, this witness named David James, in a federal Manhattan court, said the types of ecstasy he saw his boss take were sometimes in the shape of President Obama's face, and he said that Diddy did drugs every single day.
Is it safe to say that the four of us in here are uncultured in the ways of the world, in those ways of the world?
In the ways that you're talking about, like drugs and multiple
wild
body
sex parties, and
then yes, we are not cultured in that.
I mean, I just think that I don't think that I'll speak for myself. You guys can be like, oh no, I could totally.
It's just their culture.
I read these stories about what the Diddy stuff is going on. Like, I can't even imagine. Like, I can't. I am so far separated from that type of lifestyle that seems to be casual.
Well, get a life, Annie.
I don't know.
Tell us about it.
No, I like to keep that side of my life private, Ryan.
Until now.
Can I just say that is a whole new level of rich? Is having drugs is one thing, having drugs like shaved to be like. Look like
really
Obama.
Did.
That is a whole new level of rich.
It's not even as if you had to like squint to see Fred Flintstone in the Vitamin. If you looked at it, you go, "That's Obama."
So no, this isn't good enough as it is.
RFK Jr.'s thoughts on the health benefits of the entire fortification of the millennial generation, Flintstones vitamins. Were they just compacted red number 5?
Yes.
Don't break me like that.
Did you take Flintstones vitamins?
Early, very early.
Oh, man.
I love gummy
That
vitamins.
might be the one crossover between how we grew up and Ethan.
That's probably it.
It's probably your only exposure to the Flintstones.
Weren't they on like a cereal box or something at one point?
Fruity Pebbles.
Really could have been anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're thinking of the Kicks kid. All right, next one. Corinne Jean-Pierre insists Joe Biden is cancer-free.
This would be.
That's gotta be.
Oh, man.
I'm not going to be different on this one.
This could be real, and it'd just be an older headline. I'm going to say real.
I'm going to say B.
It is the B. Quote, he is as fit, healthy, and free of cancer as I've ever seen him, she told reporters. I know there are a lot of reports going around today about President Biden's health, but I want to be perfectly clear about this. It means he has cancer, but that he doesn't necessarily have cancer. Having cancer and having cancer are two very different things. While President Biden has cancer, I can assure everyone that he is cancer-free.
She was terrible.
Cancer was said a lot in that.
A lot of
couple
these
sentences.
people get jobs after they're the press secretary. I'm not sure she's going to get a job.
She really is going to have to come out and say they kept me in the dark, or like she was the voice. She was the connection to the American people from the Biden administration, and she said a lot of things that were patently, deceptively lies. She can't get away without. She's either got to throw them under the bus and say everything I saw of President Biden. When I saw him, he was with it. He was making decisions. I also only saw him maybe every other week or something, whatever it might be. But she is not going to be able to get away with her role in all of this.
She'll do the same thing as all the rest of the media are doing right now, which is How would we know? We had no access. She'll do that.
She can't.
She'll say just what you said.
She can't.
I saw him about once a month.
Well, yes, but saying if you're the press secretary and you've said you've seen him once a month is a huge deal.
That's a scandal too.
And if that's the way that she says, if that's her kind of plausible deniability, like every time I saw him, he was fine, but I only saw him every once in a while, that is a huge story.
Mm-hmm. In 2015, Biden said he'd develop prostate cancer if he were forced to resign from politics.
What?
It's kind of a confusing headline.
I'm
going to go the B.
I'm going to say real.
This is real. In 2015,
Say the headline again.
In 2015, Biden said he'd develop prostate cancer if he were forced to resign from politics. Here's the headline, the real headline from the Washington Times in 2015. Joe Biden jokes about faking prostate cancer to get out of the Obama administration. Real story.
Jeez.
Whose article?
The Washington Times. And this really did happen in 2015. Vice President Joseph R. Biden said Tuesday that he would develop prostate cancer or something if he had a fundamental disagreement with President Obama and was forced to resign from his post.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that interview.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that happening. I didn't remember him saying it was prostate cancer.
Yeah, it was.
Why prostate cancer?
Of all the things,
That's
right?
what I want to
Very
know.
strange.
Honestly, I think the reason you say prostate cancer, it is true that at a certain age, people stop testing for prostate cancer, specifically because the amount of life that a normal person would have left to live
is so long.
would be shorter
okay.
than the way a early stage prostate cancer would be. So, like, there's no reason if it's a 5-10 year diagnosis, but you're probably going to live 3 to 5 years, you're not going to put somebody through chemotherapy and kill their quality of life when something else is probably going to get to them before the prostate cancer.
Understood.
So I think that's probably why he said that, is because as far as cancers go, it's kind of a calmer, less aggressive one. It takes a minute.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Let's take a quick break. Ask us anything. Our next question segment at 1:25. YouTube live chat poll: who communicates better, men or women? We'll be back in a minute. Don't go away.
Mizzou football is here to stay. After an undefeated home season and a second straight 10-win year, the Tigers are looking for more in 2025.
Eli and the boys have done it again.
With a top 10 transfer portal class and a strong home schedule highlighted by Kansas, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, you don't want to miss out. Get your spot in line by joining the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040.
ArtisticDecks.net. Have you been thinking about adding a deck onto your home? I want you to give Artistic Decks a phone call, 314-280-0821. They use the best grade of #1 ground contact treated lumber available in this area, giving you the absolute best, most beautiful results on this new space that you're adding to your home. You've had this dream, you want to make it a reality, and you want to make it a reality now. Well, get in line at 314-280-0821 and get on the schedule to have that deck completed by the end of the summer. If you book now and you ask about their over $500 discount, 500 square foot discount, I should say, excuse me, you're going to be able to talk to them about the customizable ways that you can achieve your dreams for that deck, specifically on your home, and they're going to work with you to deliver every single time. 314-280-0821. Over 20 years of service here in the St. Louis area. For free design and consultation, give them a call, 314-280-0821, artisticdecks.net.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in experience and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
This is the story of the one.
As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
They'll see each other in court. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. 2 hearings now set for next week as Harvard challenges Homeland Security's decision to stop it from enrolling foreign students, accusing the school of fostering an unsafe campus environment.
Harvard calling the Trump administration's revocation of its certification to enroll international students both unlawful and unwarranted. University President Alan Garber said in an open letter that it imperils the futures of thousands of students and scholars across Harvard and serves as a warning to countless others at colleges and universities throughout the country who have come to America to pursue their education and fulfill their dreams.
Fox's Molly Line in Boston. The administration says it's a privilege, not a right, for schools to enroll foreign students and benefit from their higher tuition payments. A federal judge is temporarily blocking the change while the case proceeds. The administration already appealing that. A stabbing attack at a train station in Germany. Officials in Hamburg reporting 12 people injured, 6 of them critically wounded. A suspect is in custody. No word yet on any possible motive. A 5th civilian accused of helping prison escapees who broke out of a New Orleans jail 1 week ago.
New Orleans police have arrested another person they say helped inmates on the lam from the Orleans Parish Jail. 30-year-old Casey Smith is accused of giving rides to at least 2 of the inmates following the breakout last Friday. She admitted to helping the escapees along with another woman who was arrested on Wednesday.
Fox's Evan Brown, another woman accused of sending money to an inmate through an app. 5 of the 10 escapees remain on the run. Russia now says it will be ready to give Ukraine a draft document outlining conditions for a long-term peace deal once a prisoner exchange is completed. This from Russia's foreign minister. The swap of 1,000 prisoners from each side is underway and expected to continue over the weekend, arranged during talks last week in Turkey. America is listening to Fox News.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad. Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you, you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's let the engine do the talking, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 20% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details, see trustandwill.com.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It's a pretty Friday afternoon as we go with sunny skies and pretty nice temperatures, though below average, 71 for the high. A couple of showers well after midnight tonight. Nothing for the evening, 55. Saturday, a mix of clouds and sunshine, a couple of showers, but plenty of dry time on Saturday, 68. It's cool Sunday and Monday. The high temperature each day, 64, with some scattered showers. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
All right. A lot of people listening right now have had storm damage here recently. And that HVAC system, that air conditioner system that you have sitting outside, did it take damage? You might need to have an insurance claim on this. I want you to call Air Comfort Service or go to aircomfortservice.com/storm immediately to make sure that we know that you can contact them to make sure that they can assess the damage there very quickly. Make sure you get your AC looked at immediately for an insurance claim to make sure that lingering issues don't follow you this summer. Visit
aircomfortservice.com/storm. That's aircomfortservice.com/storm. And they can come assess your situation and make sure that everybody who is in our listening area gets honest assessment and quickly for you to have the best possible outcome with your insurance company. You don't want to put this off, even if there are things you might not be able to see from yourself. I don't know how much you know about air conditioners. I know how much I know about air conditioners. Nothing. If there's a portion of it that is damaged and is going to cause lingering issues, you need to have a professional look at it. 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com/storm.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com. Homeowners, spring is here, and there's no better time to sell your St. Louis home. But the agent you choose matters. Who should you call? My friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, your home sold guaranteed realty. Hey, it's Mark Cox. Here's why Gloria should be your first call. While the average realtor puts a sign in your yard and hopes it sells, Gloria will guarantee to sell your home for 100% of market value, or Gloria will pay you the difference. In this market, you don't want to risk working with someone who doesn't have the guarantees, buyers, or experience to help you sell within your time frame and for the most money. Many realtors will overprice your home to get your business, which can lead to your home sitting on the market with little or no offers and price reductions. If you want to sell your home for 100% of market value, or Gloria will pay you the difference, call Gloria Liu today at 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Happy Friday. It's a Memorial Day weekend. We talked a little bit about the importance of Memorial Day weekend and how we make that part of our holiday weekend. And, you know, obviously we all can acknowledge that in our own ways. If you go back and listen to the podcast, you can hear us talking about that in the first segment. I want to highlight once again, Ryan, you talked a little bit about, we've got a couple things that have come across our way that we want to make sure that we promote to help our neighbors here with the storm damage. Can you set us up? There's 2 things that are taking place. And if y'all have anything else that you want us to know about, the best thing to do is get on the Annie Fry YouTube chat and comment and let us know if you have things that people are doing. If we can vet that that's an actual thing, then maybe we'll mention that as well.
Yep, this one is cool. Ted Drew's second location on South Grand is open for the summer, first of all, and then a portion of the proceeds from that location, no matter what you get, will support all the local tornado relief efforts through this Sunday. And then we just mentioned during the time check a few minutes ago that we at 97.1 are partnering with Guns N' Hoses and Dave Munganast St. Louis Honda to basically create a donation center with Dave Munganast St. Louis Honda, where you can drop off all of your non-perishable foods, baby items, cleaning products, bottled water, toiletries. Gift cards are always something else you can do. It's very easy. At St. Louis Honda, Dave Munganast in South County. That is Monday through Saturday. Anytime you want to drop by with some stuff there, that is all part of the Guns N' Hoses 97.1 effort. All
right. Let's get to, Brad, we can start up what I miss here, and we can get to some of the things you want to highlight, and then we'll, in the 125 segment, we're going to hit up next question.
It's our Ask Us Anything. If you get on the Any Fry YouTube channel, you can ask us questions in the chat there. Anything you want to know, any good Ask Us Anything questions that you might have had lingering or things that curiosities you've had, we would love to use those in participation in that 125 segment. So join us there. And we are over 12,000. We have 12,002 subscribers. We did it. Hooray.
Hooray.
High fives all around. Whenever we get to like 12,000 or 12,002, and I mention that, and I put up the counter, the live counter on the screen, there's always some rascals out there that unsubscribe.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to see if it actually moves. So,
which I'm fine with.
Yeah, we appreciate your hooliganery. So, all right, let's get to what I missed over the course of the week.
What did I miss?
All right, so I have a couple clips here, and the first clip I want to pull up is Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio made a bunch of waves on Capitol Hill.
He's my favorite.
Over the past couple days, and I think he gives one of the most succinct, best descriptions of what U.S. foreign policy should be and immigration policy, really. He was talking to Tim Kaine about this, this clip. So I'm going to share this and then play it for you guys, and you guys tell me what you think.
Story. If there is a subset of people that are easier to vet, who we have a better understanding of who they are and what they're going to do when they come here, they're going to receive preference, no doubt about it. There are a lot of sad stories around the world, millions and millions of people around the world. It's heartbreaking. We cannot assume millions and millions of people around the world. No country can. So you have to have a process of deciding who do you prioritize, who do you allow in. We do it all the time. We do it in our immigration system now under our current laws. Unfortunately, it's primarily based on family connection and not on what they're going to contribute to the society from a merit standpoint. That should be changed, but that'll require statutory changes. But the bottom line is this notion that somehow we have to accept anyone who wants to come to the United States is absurd. No country in the world has an immigration policy like that.
So he says there basically the main idea is that this idea that we have to take anyone into the United States is an absurd notion, and he's right. I don't understand why everybody thinks that, you know, or at least I should say people that champion the left's immigration policies think that if somebody comes here and they've got a sad story, we have to take them in. Sometimes your story isn't good enough. I think that Donald Trump is right whenever he talks about we want people to come here, we want immigrants, but we want the best. We don't want just any person. And as a country, as much as we would like to support everybody, I don't understand why people think that we can actually do that. We are the greatest country in the world, but there are some things that are still a bridge too far. We just can't do it.
JD Vance or Rubio, 2028?
I'd go Rubio right now.
I'm an OG Rubio supporter.
I don't have any problem with Vance, but between the two.
I don't think Vance should just get it because he's the VP.
Yeah, I would like to see a primary.
What I would like is for JD Vance and Rubio to work it out before primary. I don't want to see
gentleman's agreement. Maybe run on the same ticket.
I don't.
Vance for VP again.
No, that's the thing that I don't think happens. It's not Rubio Vance. But crazier things have happened, I suppose. But he's so good at it, and I knew he would be good at it. And everyone was like, "Oh, he's a Rhino Rubio, little Marco."
Did you see the Chris Van Hollen quotes about Rubio after that Senate hearing? They're absurd.
Chris Van Hollen is the BFF of the Maryland father.
Yes, Tren de Aragua, or MS-13.
The guy who went to Kohl's before he did the interview with him in El Salvador or whatever it was. That plaid shirt, short sleeve button up.
Yeah.
KC Chiefs hat. What? I can't believe nobody's making fun of that as much as they should be.
I know.
Like, to me, they were like, Maryland father, MS-13 gang member. We need to go to Kohl's. Like, you get the on sale like purchase at the cash register, the impulse buy. They're like, ooh, KC Chiefs hat. That's a good one. Yeah. Get that too.
This was a few months ago.
Yeah.
You can get it for super cheap now.
Should have been wearing jorts.
He said, Chris Van Hollen said, quote, "Your campaign of fear and repression is eating away at the foundational values of our democracy." To Marco Rubio about that. He had just voted for Rubio for this position.
Is he the one who said, like, this makes me, I regret my vote? And Marco Rubio's response was, your regret for voting for me is confirmation that I'm doing a great job.
I've got the quotes if you want them. Van Hollen said, "And I have to tell you directly and personally that I regret voting for you for Secretary of State." And then Rubio, first of all, your regret for voting for me confirms I'm doing a good job. That's great.
All right, so the next clip that I have here is from Peter Doocy, and he is reporting on Donald Trump in the Oval Office meeting with the South African president, and fireworks flew in this thing.
And it's worth pointing out that is definitely the most awkward Oval Office meeting since Zelensky was here. It ended a little bit better because I can see the vehicle. It is not leaving. The South African delegation is not leaving early. They will be sticking around for lunch. But really, when you watch that, it seems like the Trump foreign policy doctrine is a lot like the old slogan for the MTV show The Real World, where people stop being polite and start getting real. And that's what we just saw from President Trump.
So, for those of you who don't know, and Donald Trump had the president of South Africa in, and he played the video of basically South African farmers, the alleged genocide that is going on there and all of that other stuff, because he's just confronting people to their face now, and that's what we need from foreign policy. Ryan, you and I talked about this the other day. There is not another president out there that would address this in this way.
Yeah, it was actually, I watched a little bit of it live. It was uncomfortable to watch for all the right reasons, because it was Donald Trump saying, this is happening on your watch. I'm going to show you what you will not address. And the world reacted.
I'm pulling up one more clip here that I find very fun. And it's one that Annie sent me, but I also came across it myself. And this is a Florida sheriff, Grady Judd is his name. And he, basically his department conducted a sex sting, and this video is just wild. So I will pull this up, share this, and let you guys see what you think. But this one really you want to see online.
43 from Davenport. This is our human trafficking and prostitution, folks. He's charged with offering to commit. This is Jason Bathis, okay? When he walks in, you think, well, I have set up a deal with an ugly woman. And I think you would all agree that this guy's an ugly woman, right? This is what you really get when the makeup comes off.
Ew.
This is Jason Bathis. Now I want you to think about this a minute, okay? You decide that you're going to hook up with a woman. She comes in, and she's already uglier than a mud fence, right? And then, as you start to engage, you find out, hey, this dudette is a dude, and look what he really looks like. Yeah, he looks like he should have been in a Scarface movie someplace. I don't know. This is what's happening. People think they're getting this, and many times they're getting a really bad guy.
And I don't know if you guys noticed on the side there, it says fool around and find out. But yeah, I just found it funny because that was an ugly, ugly person. And I just...
Man, it was an ugly man.
Ugly man. Yeah, it was an ugly man. Uglier than a, what'd he say? A mud hen?
Mud fence.
Mud fence.
What is a mud fence?
I've never heard of a mud fence.
Sounds like it's ugly.
I would think that it would be not that effective in a rainstorm.
You know, that's one thing they say about mud fences.
I mean,
what are we talking about?
I don't know. Well, that story, was that part of a larger
they did a human
trafficking
ring? They did a human trafficking sting and arrested a bunch of people. And
so was he showing up at a location for...
He wasn't the traffickee. He was the trafficker. So he wasn't being trafficked. He was doing the trafficking, but he also looks like he partook in some of the business as well. And so...
Here's a question.
Okay.
It's not ask us anything. It's not next question yet. But our dear friend Scooter begs the question. He says, hilarious. So I guess he doesn't appreciate that we're laughing about this. He said, who can we make fun of? Culturally, are we at a point where we need to make fun of that person? Should they be publicly shamed?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
We don't make fun of enough. I mean, you may find this surprising, but I find humor in a lot of things. And I don't want to. I want to be able to just express that more often than not. This is one where you go, everybody can agree that this person should basically be publicly shamed, which is what this guy's doing.
What attributes does this person who's involved in this trafficking sting, who's presenting himself, I mean, like I said, I think he's a prettier woman as a man than he was as a man playing a woman. What attributes does that human being still possess that should shield him from the absolute most public ridicule that one human being can get? Maybe part of the problem is that we aren't shaming and dismissing certain elements of our society enough because everybody is too quiet and waiting for someone to say, oh, so I guess we're going to make fun of them, huh? That, which is a judgment on you. Here we are having a conversation about somebody involved in trafficking. And there is a very consistent drumbeat because they love their drums, where you are always reminded, like, it's like now is the time where they really try to tap into the humanity of people. It's like, this is the guy, this is the thing that pushed you over the edge. This is the thing that's like, we should care for these people. I don't care for these people at all. And, you know, the question is, who else should we make fun of? I mean, that could be the first question we ask in next question is like, let's start listing the people who we should be publicly making fun of. If you're involved in trafficking, I think that's like, top of the first inning of what we should be doing with these people. I don't know. We're so soft. We're such a soft culture right now.
You know what's terrible about it too is that somehow we've gotten to the place where a lot of people, I don't know that we would do it, but a lot of people would go, do I need to consider his feelings? Before they just laugh at such a ridiculous person who's obviously in the bowels of evil. Like, why would you question making fun of that?
Well, the thing that's disgusting about this,
putting it down,
the thing that is so repulsively disgusting about this is really the veil of what makes him a protected person. Look at what? If he's transgender because he's a man posing as a woman, and, you know, the sheriff is having a little bit of fun with the presentation of his transgenderism there. They're saying that trafficking, sex trafficking, this type of a situation, whatever the crimes were in this sting in Florida, they're saying that as heinous as that is, transgenderism is outside of your purview to criticize somebody. If they have participated in one of the most disgusting, heinous types of things that you can participate in, transgenderism will make them immune to the criticism that they should get for the crimes that they're committing. That's the world that they've tried to push us into. And I feel like we were careening towards the edge of the cliff, and we were about to go off the edge of the cliff into that psychotic way of thinking, and somebody was able to turn the wheel at the last minute and the back tires went out over the cliff, and we hit the gas, and Donald Trump got elected, and we started to be common sense again, and we're like, we should make fun of these people.
That's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's visual.
Yes.
That was dope.
You got the like when the tires are going out, which is also the sound I make when I make any turn at a high rate of speed. My kids now make it when I make a turn. They got friends in the car, and I'm making a turn, and my kids in unison are like, I'm like, don't worry, it's going to be fine. Sorry, kids. All right, let's take a quick break. Next question, next segment. What do you want to know from the Annie Frey Show? The first one we're going to ask, I'm going to ask the room. We'll see if Ethan can get in here, if he's got a free couple minutes with us. Who communicates better, men or women? We want your thoughts on this as well. Maybe this is a very obvious answer to you. Maybe you've thought about it and you're not 100% sure which way it's going to go. Jaws said men versus women. Tough call. Depends on context. Men better with other men. Women better with other women. Men more efficient. Women include subtext. I think, but I'm a man, so I don't get subtext. So even the answers are complicated. Who communicates better, folks, men or women? Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. Go vote there. Leave your question for us, and maybe we'll pick it on air in the next segment. Don't go away.
Take my hands, my D, and look me in
You're
my
listening to The Annie Frey Show.
Just like a monkey,
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
see me dance just one more time. Ooh, I sing you every time. And oh my, I like your style. You make me wanna cry. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. So they say, dance for me, dance for me.
The Retirement Advisory Group is a phone call away, 314-993-9494. Your retirement might be a few days, months, years away. You're 59 and a half or older. Well, that's a magic half birthday that you haven't had since you were in single digits. You can make some moves right now that will protect you while you move into retirement. When we were at the seminar earlier this week, I was talking to several people, asking them if they are retired already. And it's always interesting to ask someone that question. You can tell immediately the people who are like, I'm just dabbling. I like what I do. I want to keep working, but I might be ready to know, it's coming up. Other people like, are you retired yet? And they're like, no. And they can't. It's like, oh my gosh, we need to get this thing moving along. It doesn't matter which one of those you are. If you are dying to retire, if you wish you'd have retired years ago, or if you like what you do, but you just kind of want to know what kind of flexibility you have. The Retirement Advisory Group can guide you in making a confident, educated decision on what is best for you. Position you for success so you have peace of mind in that retirement. 314-993-9494, 314-993-9494, online at retirementkey.com.
Mizzou football is here to stay. After an undefeated home season and a second straight 10-win year, the Tigers are looking for more in 2025.
Eli and the boys have done it again.
With a top 10 transfer portal class and a strong home schedule highlighted by Kansas, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, you don't want to miss out. Get your spot in line by joining the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon, and whether you're looking for independent living, assisted living, or memory care, New Perspective gives you the freedom to live the life you love with just the right support. Beautiful apartments, amazing dining, plenty of activities. Check out npseniorliving.com today. New Perspective Senior Living, a friendlier approach to senior living.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Frey Show.
Next question. It's a legitimate question.
Next question.
Next question, please.
Next question on The Annie Frey Show.
Gosh, take that Kamala laugh out of there.
Oh, no, that's a great reminder. It's a moment in history that we need to remember.
That's the cliff.
It's like a Smithsonian. Yeah. Yeah. There we go.
It reminds me of how much I hate salad.
What?
Word salad.
Word salad.
Come on.
Well, Amy Klobuchar, see, you're mixing your metaphors here because Senator Amy Klobuchar told a story one time about eating a salad in an airport without a fork because she didn't have one. She ate it with a comb.
Huh?
It was before you.
Thank God.
This is when you were a wee lad.
That may have, put me out. I thought would have been it.
It put her out.
Of the primary.
She was kind of done.
That was it?
First question for the room. Same as the one on our YouTube live chat poll. Depending on how you guys all react to this online, I might open the call for calls at 2:05 to take your thoughts. Normally we'll talk about politics or Trump or something, but who wants to do that on a Friday afternoon and Memorial Day weekend? We want to know who communicates better, men or women. Yesterday, Ryan did 2 segments, a Wiggins America and a Wiggins America Extended, on phrases women say and what they really mean. And so I got to thinking, who actually communicates better? Who wants to go first? I normally would go to Ryan, but do you want to go first, or does somebody else have a... Brad, you want to go first?
I'll go first. If I have to pick, I'm going to say men. I will say this, though. I think it's a subjective thing, not an objective thing.
What, as in you're a man and you pick men?
Well, no. I think
that's fair.
Bias much?
Yeah, because I know what I appreciate in communication and what I understand better, and I think that there's an old phrase that says men speak in bold print and women speak in fine print, and I speak in bold print, and I appreciate people who speak in bold print back. So I would say it's men because they tend to be direct.
Ryan speaks in magnet letters.
A, B,
they're very colorful.
He's all over his refrigerator.
Yeah.
Where'd the F go? And the E.
The F's off. The F is off.
I don't really know what that means.
It's open for interpretation. When I'm communicating to you, the idea is that you don't get it.
I don't.
Well said.
Go ahead, Ryan. Men or women?
Men.
Okay, and why?
Women communicate more, which sometimes can be better, but men communicate much more, succinctly and directly. So I think if a man wants you to know something, he's just going to tell you what it is and then leave.
And if a woman wants you to know something, she's going to very dramatically infer that.
Or hint at it for weeks, something like that.
I don't want to pick on your wife. Let's just say like a nondescript woman that you know.
Okay, not named Katie.
No. Is she subtle?
Yeah, well, no. She's not subtle. She's actually very bold. But when it comes to something like that, where she wants something, she will just sort of throw spaghetti at the wall.
Like, what do you mean by want something?
For her birthday or something for
so
the
like
house or
a gift,
whatever.
Like a non-essential, like, oh, it'd be so nice if this new piece of furniture just showed up or something like that.
Yeah, sort of. But there's so much stuff that I have to figure out what's what. Because it'll be in the same...
Do you take notes?
Mentally, I do. In the same breath, it'll be like, you know what we should do is just add this room onto the house. And it's like, wow, yeah, that's a great idea. And then also, we should get new luggage. And it's like, those two things are not in the same category for me.
I'm pretty sure, but I'm pretty sure that what she maybe has just done, like, I can't add the room, but I can get her the luggage. And then she gets luggage.
Or maybe she wants the room so that she can have somewhere to put her new luggage. That's
you should get her the room.
I was thinking.
Well, I'm always thinking about it. I'm always trying to achieve it. But
men, I think, like, you guys are saying, like, that women are hard to understand and they don't. Am I saying this correct? I'm not playing a game here. I'm trying to be direct. You're saying that women don't say what they mean.
No, I'm not saying women don't say what they mean. I'm saying that they take a longer time to get there. But it's just
wait a second.
You know,
wait a second. What if it's you that's taking a longer time to get there?
No, that's not. I just don't think that's the case.
Nor would you.
And I'm telling you very directly that is not true.
Remember, Ryan, alphabet letters on the fridge.
Yes, colorful. So when your wife, isn't there a difference between when she's throwing things out there that would be kind of nice for the next occasion versus like if she wants something and she is serious about it, isn't she communicating that to you?
Yeah, but it's all in the same category. So, you know, I think she would accept really any of those things. And so it's my job to sort of get as many of them as I can.
Looking at Ryan's example where he said she'll say we should add a room onto the house, also we should get luggage. If what she really wanted was luggage and she asked Ryan for luggage, wouldn't you just get her luggage?
Yeah,
or no?
It could be, and it's not a strategy. Like, I get that it's like, oh, shoot big and then, okay, get the little thing. No, that's not, I don't think that's really what's happening.
So, Jackie, thank you, women in the chat. This would be a great time for the women listening to the show to support
Stand your ground.
Not me, but like the perspective of a female here, because I can't speak for all of us. She says you can rarely tell or text a man with multiple requests or questions. They only pick one to respond to. Facts. So if you're saying it takes a while for somebody to get to the point, I do believe all the men in my life, I have to increment and prioritize requests and make requests, wait for a response, and then get to the next one and the next one. The women in my life, I can be like, here's what we're dealing with. There goes everything, and then we work on it. And I do very much believe that there is a difference. I think men's brains function differently than women's. I think that, honestly, like, if you think about how God intended, there I said it, if you're talking about old-timey, prehistoric, whatever, like going back to the beginning of people, men have to go out and hunt and fight. You can't be like on the battlefield thinking about a bunch of things. But if the female is at home and they're managing the home and juggling children and keeping the home and the protection of the home that exists with the absence of a man, the actual purpose and service of a man's brain has to be kill that guy and not be clouded by anything else in the mission. The woman has to have a different responsibility in that. It makes sense that while that isn't the modern day application of how our brains function, that a woman's ability to think about literally a dozen different things at a time is an asset that she has, and also a burden, I might say, as is a man's ability to focus specifically on one thing, which is an asset, but if it's only one thing, also a burden.
I would back Annie probably and say that I think that in general, women are better communicators than men. I like to think that probably
Brad rolled his eyes at you.
Us three in this room,
which seemed a little indirect.
Good
if you
communicators. Yeah, but I get that from Brad all the time. It's fine.
Russell online says, what did Annie just say? You said too many things at once, Annie.
Yeah. Can you prioritize that?
Check the podcast, do a ChatBT transcript, and take it at your own pace.
Listen to it at 0.5 speed.
I'm also going to say I couldn't repeat it. I think women are better communicators. I think men don't choose communication.
Agreed.
I think men resort to communication.
I think that, and Brad, you kind of said a version of it earlier in that like women communicate more, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're better at it. And maybe this is something that is getting better with the generations, right? But men in society, right, for a long time have been like, the whole thing has been like, don't communicate, don't share this or that, right? So I think that you could partner that with their communication skills and other things as well. I would argue that women are better at that. It doesn't mean that the quality is still great, but I would argue they're still better than men in large part at that.
I would like to know what everybody's thinking of whenever we say communicate.
Depends. Communicate doesn't just mean talk.
Right.
Janine says, and I'm loving these comments from women, keep them coming. She says, in like Sandlot fashion, my husband takes forever to get to the point and stop talking so I can speak. I guarantee you there are men who are saying the same thing about their wives. And then, Vicky, this made me laugh out loud when I was reading this. My husband would just call me if it was more than one question, which is so frustrating because a female is like doing a bunch of things and then you text a bunch of things and the guy's like, oh, I just call you. Just talk to me. Talk me through it.
I think dudes are also like so simple sometimes to the point that's where the under communication comes from because they don't feel as though it is necessary. And women kind of make up for that with it being the opposite.
Women feel like they have to over communicate to men.
Because they think we're cavemen,
You're saying, well, you just said men are simple.
Yeah.
It's not, but it's not, I mean, that sounds like it could, if I said men are simple first, there are men who'd be like very offended by that. Men are simpler creatures than women. Women are more complex. That doesn't mean you're emphatically nodding your head.
100%.
That doesn't mean that one is superior and one is inferior, but who's going to argue with me that men are simple creatures and easily satisfied with a few basic needs? Women? No. That's not the way it works. So, I mean, it makes sense also in that vein that you would men would need less to communicate, to convey a message, but women, they're not receiving the volume of communication in the same way that it's being given.
They're doing a lot more work in order for the message to be like sent, to be portrayed, than I think guys are. And I mean, you could take that in a way as, well, that means that guys are better at communicating. You could, but you could also take it as like they're not putting in nearly as much effort for the point to get put across, or for, the conversation to be met at this point also.
What do you guys, we're all Christians in here. Mike comments, God created Eve as a helper because he knew us men would need a lot of help. Ryan?
Oh, the wheels are turning.
I mean, first and foremost, I don't need help. I don't need anything. I can do anything I want.
So that's where you went with that.
But
there's 1,000 different roads.
since I did decide, you know what, maybe it would be good to have a mate.
Oh my God, you are toast. you have,
enjoy your long weekend.
There are some very key females in your life. And you've relegated the most important one down to mating.
Mate.
No,
and
I
said
know.
that you don't need
mate.
anybody and you would do just fine by yourself.
No, it's
Is
not
that
just
what you
it's
just
not
communicated?
just mating. What do bros call each other in England? They call each other mates because they're cool with each other.
I thought it was
Now
bruv.
it seems like you're explaining something else.
I am. I'm explaining that I needed a helper as God created Eve.
You literally just said you didn't need help. You could do everything yourself.
Yes. Well, on basic levels, yes.
Ryan, you're communicating terribly right
What
now.
most basic levels do you need no help and assistance with?
The gathering and hunting of food.
You don't even know how to deal with your garage raccoon.
That's because I don't.
Or the deer eating your trees in your backyard.
You know why that is, though? Because I have Chef Boyardee.
I could see Katie handling those with her bare hands.
I can just go get anything I want from the store.
That's
and
the
I was
softest thing I've ever heard.
I was trained that way.
You just said that you don't need help as a hunter-gatherer because you have Chef Boyardee.
Am I wrong?
Yes!
Ryan's like,
Hey,
honey,
no, I'm
stay here with the
technically
kids. I'm heading out to get the food.
I mean, would it make everybody feel better if I shot the ravioli with a bow?
Mike also follows up and says, Annie, please ask Ryan where he goes to hunt for his candy.
I can't tell you because it's discounted. Got a couple of good spots. And it's always based on what they have.
Anybody else have a comment on God creating women to be helpers because they knew men would need a lot of help?
Pastor Brad?
I think it's a crude but accurate statement. I mean, right before that, God said it's not good for man to be alone. The aspect of that I take out of it is that we need each other to complete one another. We're not complete. And those differences that Annie was talking about versus the differences that we were talking about, they're complementary things. Everybody serves a role. They have a part to play in creating a family unit. And so it's like man by himself is incomplete and woman by herself is incomplete. And it's always better when you have that complement and they come together.
Ethan?
How am I supposed to follow that up? He said it perfectly.
Just roll your eyes at him.
Whatever.
You guys are like a bunch of women.
Yeah.
It's like the View up in here right now.
Excuse me?
I think you'd be Joy Behar. You two are gingers.
Whoa.
Excuse me. Joy Behar's a ginger.
Listen.
Ooh, I got a question for Ask Me Anything.
All right, when we come back, when we come back, we'll get to your questions for Ask Us Anything. I might take phone calls on this at 2 o'clock, and you can reach out and tell us, in your opinion, and ladies, I'm talking to you. If I do this, I'm going to need some female help here on who communicates better. I'm also predicting that if we do open the phones, we're going to have women call in and say men are the better communicators. I wouldn't put that past folks at all. Let's take a quick break. More from you on the other side. Don't go away.
This is The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
is acknowledging veterans this Memorial Day. I want to make sure that you know about this opportunity to save 10% on your shopping cart when you shop at Ruler Foods on Memorial Day. They always have great deals and savings for everybody, but they want to take the time on Monday to acknowledge those veterans among us. And I hope that if you're listening right now and you are a veteran, if you know or love a veteran, that you give them the heads up. Shop at Ruler Foods and save 10%. Excluding alcohol, tobacco products, and gift cards. You can save, everybody goes and saves on a whole bunch of delicious items right now. If you've got a taco night coming up, you can get Kroger sour cream. And this is all pick 3 for just $5. You can get Hamburger Helper. You can also get your favorite Kroger cookies. You can also have Kroger garden salad and your choice of Kroger salad dressing. Just mix and match, 3 for $5. If you are looking to save this holiday weekend to prepare for your barbecues, to acknowledge Memorial Day, go to Ruler Foods. If you are a veteran, thank you incredibly so much for your service. Save an extra 10%. That is the gratitude that Kroger and Ruler Foods are offering you this Memorial Day when you shop on that holiday. RulerFoods.com.
Are you experiencing frequent or sudden urges to urinate, waking up to use the bathroom multiple times a night, or a weak or slow urinary stream? If previous medication hasn't provided relief, the doctors at South County Urological can help. Call 314-843-8000 or visit southcountyurological.com.
In the 70s, while still putting up Hall of Fame numbers, local baseball legend Jerry Kelly decided to do something different.
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
And our area's never been the same. This year, the company Jerry started decided we'd do something different.
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating, Air, and Electrical.
So from now on, when you need an electrical solution or fix at your home, get it done fast, good, by a Hall of Fame company that's got it going on.
JerryKelly.com.
Today through Sunday, if you go to Ted Drew's second location on South Grand, a portion of all the proceeds from that location are going to support tornado relief efforts in our area. That is today through Sunday at the Ted Drew's on South Grand. It is 1:46. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. Mark Cox here. Join me at the 2025 Missouri Legislative Review Thursday, June 5th at the Lodge de Pere. Meet top lawmakers, connect with party leaders and grassroots advocates. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
Bring it.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Just can't sit, gotta get jiggy with it. That's it, now honey, come ride. DKNY, all up in my eye. You gotta.
All right, we're in a little bit of next question, and we did the last segment on our YouTube live chat poll. Who communicates better, men or women? We want to know your thoughts on the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll, and also leave a comment. JD Dunn says on Facebook, the room edition and luggage comment is hinting you need a second job. That would be quite a passive way to, we do need to add a room to our house, Ryan.
Yeah, she's suggesting I put in resumes.
I don't know. That's pretty bold. Let's get to our next question. Brad, why don't you go first?
Okay, so I teased this right before we went out, and I came up with it right as we went out. Who would each member of the Annie Fry Show be on The View? So we established that Ethan would be Joy. Who would each other
I don't know all of their names. I know Whoopi. I think I'll be Whoopi. I'll just take that off the table.
I'm looking them up. I don't remember all of them.
Just give us the hair color.
Sunny Hostin.
Ryan wants to be Sunny.
She's just kind of happy. If I know anything about The View, I know the name Sunny means happy.
And not angry at all.
This is The View on ABC.
Oh.
That was Sunny Costin.
Oh.
You're
Always
talking about
having
Sunny Hostin, the opposite of joyous, bright sunshine.
Okay, let me change then to Anna Navarro.
It's the Latin heritage. Republican strategist. Anna
I'm
Navarro.
very surface level.
I thought Sonny was pretty good for Ryan because he always had to come back after a segment and clarify something that he put out there in the previous segment.
Because of the lawyers. Ryan, next question.
Okay. Is summer the most American season? of the four seasons?
That is an artistic
Does
question
summer
right there.
feel more American than others?
Let's go through the Americana of each season and start with summer. Barbecues, cold drinks, pools, parades, fireworks. These are all happening during summer. So I would say I would give that a 4.5 out of 5 stars for Americana. Fall has football.
Football
and that's like a pretty big deal.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving is really maybe as American as it gets. What else? Labor Day.
Yeah.
Organized labor.
Veterans Day.
Veterans Day. Hey, we're bipartisan here.
People go, Labor Day's coming up. How are you celebrating?
No.
Organized labor union.
I don't know. 4 out of 5 stars. Veterans Day, Thanksgiving.
4 stars out of 5 for fall.
Yeah.
Campfires.
I don't know if that's American.
I think those happen other places too.
Yeah, Christmas happens everywhere.
That's winter. And I was gonna say I think American Christmas is special.
That's true. We do.
We don't acknowledge Boxing Day. That's American.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of things we could say we don't do.
Snow. That's not American.
No.
Winter sucks. What is Americana about winter?
I can't think of anything.
Martin Luther King Day?
Yeah, I guess that's winter.
President's Day?
President's Day, yeah.
Abraham Lincoln's birthday? George Washington's birthday? Ooh.
That's all winter.
You're getting there.
Isn't the crossing of the Delaware on Christmas? That kind of counts.
Christmas Eve, yeah.
What?
I just think you're stretching.
I am. Trying to defend and make sure we're Americana 4 out of 4.
Well, we're into spring now.
3 out of 5, winter. Spring baseball starts.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's in the summer too, but spring,
it's also in Japan.
Not
spring.
No. It's America's pastime.
Spring training.
That's baseball.
Yeah.
NCAA tournament. That's very.
I think the NCAA tournament is the best full event in sports,
especially that first weekend.
Well, just the whole thing. Yeah. I mean, like, it's a very long amount of time that keeps people engaged that don't even pay attention during the rest of the season.
I think you answered the question.
I think it's summer over fall by hair.
Mm-hmm.
Summer is to me by far the most American feeling.
What's more American, fall or autumn?
Fall. Although I would say autumn probably.
Next question.
No, hang on a second.
There's more?
Yes.
No, there's not.
Summer.
You're over-communicating.
Summer is such a great... Here's how I judge it.
There's guys, I'm just interjecting here. There's some stupid joke that we were walking up to that he does not want to leave on the cutting room floor, and I didn't know it, and so I went to move on, and he hasn't delivered it yet.
If I had my A game, yes.
Why is your voice cracking?
This is my C game today.
Ryan just said in the break that he was, like, not mentally present during the last segment.
It's true.
It's Friday.
I was talking about my wife, and I was like, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Am I going to be in trouble?
Yes.
I have no clue.
Yes. The first thing you said there, go back. Maybe.
How do I make something entertaining out of that
Ethan,
question?
if you can hear us right now, will you clip his answer to why he needs nobody?
No,
so
don't
we can
do
play
that.
We need to play it back for him in the 2:00 hour and just check and see how he feels when he listens to it.
You can verify with my wife if you want to that I've been going home every day from work and just falling asleep.
Well,
so
you better hope she does the same thing.
I need vacation
doesn't podcast the
next
show
week.
Today. Next question. I'm going to read one here from the chat. Gosh. Bobo, you asked the weirdest questions. I'm going to ask this one. Favorite ice cream topping? My husband went to get ice cream the other night for the kids, and we got some too, which really means that we wanted ice cream and we allowed the kids to have some. And I ordered a sundae with butterscotch on it, and the ice cream place says, oh, we don't have butterscotch anymore. How do you not have butterscotch? I kind of wondered if, like, butterscotch is aged out.
No, don't say that. Butterscotch is great. That was going to be my choice for this.
Vanilla, ice cream, butterscotch on top, and pecans. That's butter pecan.
I don't like pecan so much, but I do love butterscotch.
Oh, you guys got some great suggestions there, but mine is strawberries. like a strawberry sundae with vanilla ice cream.
Like strawberries or strawberry sauce, which is just red dye number 5.
The strawberry sauce with the strawberries in it, like you get at Dairy Queen or something like that.
RFK Jr. judgmental meme insert here.
I show him pictures of me when I was younger, and he'd judge me a lot harder.
They'd be happy for you.
This guy showing me before and after pictures.
Yeah.
Brad, next question.
Okay, this is a little more serious, but what would the high school freshman version of you think about where you are today or who you are today?
She'd be proud.
He would be impressed. Yep, impressed.
You just said that you don't know what you're doing. And you're asking for it to have no responsibility for the word you're saying because you can't think. You said your brain was mush.
Yeah, that's why I said the freshman version of me would be super compressed.
Look at how far you've come with so much talent. And
he'd say, wow, that's the best.
Okay, real question. Sub-question to Brad's question. Ryan's not drunk, but if he were, it would look like this. Ryan.
Get to 3.
Which Ryan... Did freshman Ryan think freshman Ryan was funnier? Or does this today Ryan, May 2025 Ryan, think Ryan is funnier?
Ooh.
Which Ryan was more impressed with their current self?
This one. I didn't have to think about that.
I feel like that one's biased.
This one has honed his craft much longer and has now written many leather-bound books.
You have no leather-bound books.
Freshman Ryan had 0 books.
Well, you still have 0 leather-bound books.
Freshman Ryan was just starting to figure out how to write comedy.
Did freshman Ryan have uncertainties? Did freshman Ryan was he like a normal 14, 15-year-old kid where he was insecure?
Oh, yeah. But also completely unaware of a lot of the things you probably should be insecure about at that age.
You were either insecure or you were oblivious.
It was both, though. It really was. It was insecure because everybody is at that age. You're trying to figure stuff out. But also,
But what were you trying to figure out?
Yeah, I don't even know. What was I trying to figure out? I didn't know.
And did you figure it out?
No, I tell you what. I tried to get girls at that age, 14, 15, 16, and I knew enough to know that I was awkward in doing it, but not enough to know what I would do with a girl once I got the girl. So that's where I was.
Brad?
What?
You asked the question.
Oh, I think
or you can comment on him.
Yeah, I think this Ryan thinks he's the most impressive. But
I think every current Ryan thinks he's the most impressive.
I think
Ryan has his eyebrows up right now in that sympathetic way that I actually believe that he doesn't know what's happening.
I think freshman me would be shocked and amazed at who I am today because I'm such a different person than who I was in high school.
Impressive?
More confident, less chunky, doing a cool job, that sort of thing. I think he would find this great. So,
Ryan, next question.
Did you answer? You just said yes.
I said she'd be impressed.
Next question is, what was the worst grade in school?
F. Am I wrong?
No, that's right. It was the worst.
Thank you. A+ for me.
Or I, incomplete sometimes.
I absolutely 7th grade, not a doubt in my mind. It's formulated exactly who I am today, being bullied and isolated and ostracized. And the part about it that breaks my heart the most is it's the same today as it was then. That it wasn't. I have what I feel is this very unique experience in 7th grade, very unfair, blah blah blah, and it's so not unique that's like a really really sad part about it. My daughter has experienced it, and like all of the other people around her, they all have their own stories. It's just a really 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 tough time to be in junior high.
I agree.
Would you say
that's the same grade? I would say was.
Would you say
grade.
7th?
Yep.
Brad?
Mine was my junior year. It was awful. It's when everything kind of really fell apart and things got really bad for me. So much so that I went to a different school for my senior year. So
this is a really hard time to be like, let's go to a break.
It's
well,
time
we gotta
for
go to a break.
It's 2 o'clock hour. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, but freshman Brad is impressed now with current Brad. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be back in the next segment with your phone calls, maybe. Who communicates better, men or women? Let us know. We'll be right back.
Yo, my cardio is infinite. Big Willie Styles all in it.
TheDiamondShop.net. You're shopping for graduates maybe this weekend. Maybe you are looking a little bit ahead for Father's Day. The Diamond Shop has something at your price point ready in stock right now, and everything is 30% off in stock right now. So if you walk into the Diamond Shop this weekend and you have, you can walk in and maybe think like, okay, I'm looking for earrings or I'm looking for a watch, which I might add are let me make sure I said this right, 20% off watches that are in stock there, even Movado watches, men's jewelry, 40% off. You are going to walk in and think, okay, I'm looking to spend $100. I'm looking to spend $500. Maybe you're looking to buy an engagement ring and it's something even a little bit more. They have something for you, and they're going to get to know you, what you're looking for, and then they're going to try to meet your price point. No judgment, no shame. You're going to walk out feeling like $1 million because you've worked with great people and you've got a great timeless product. You can find them online. Become a VIP for extra savings online at thediamondshop.net.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Nuclear energy may be set for a U.S. renaissance. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
It's time for nuclear, and we're going to do it very big.
President Trump just signing executive orders aimed at boosting nuclear energy production in the U.S.
The technology's come a long way, both in safety and cost and everything else.
The nuclear push aimed in part at meeting higher energy demand driven by artificial intelligence needs, and the orders include easing regulatory hurdles. Joe Dominguez is CEO of Constellation Energy.
We're wasting too much time on permitting, and we're answering silly questions, not the important ones.
In the Oval Office a short time ago, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says nuclear is a big part of the energy needed to keep up with adversaries. President Trump defending his new plan for a 50% tariff on European Union countries beginning June 1st, after posting that talks are going nowhere.
We signed a great deal with United Kingdom. We have numerous other deals that are ready to be signed. We've signed a deal with China. We have some really amazing deals, but the European Union, the sole purpose was really not to hurt us, but to take advantage of us.
Arguing that's why the EU was formed. Several European officials still offering hope for a trade deal. The president also just doubling down on a threat to hit Apple with a 25% tariff for iPhones sold in the U.S. but made outside the country, as Apple moves to shift more manufacturing to India because of tariffs on China. A verdict just reached in the Paris trial over the robbery of Kim Kardashian. The ringleader and 7 other people found guilty for the 2016 robbery in Kardashian's luxury Paris apartment. She was tied up and held at gunpoint by masked intruders who stole $6 million in jewels, most of it never recovered. 2 of 10 defendants have just been acquitted. America is listening to Fox News.
Trust Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 20% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's a pretty Friday afternoon as we go with sunny skies and pretty nice temperatures, though below average, 71 for the high. A couple of showers well after midnight tonight. Nothing for the evening, 55. Saturday, a mix of clouds and sunshine, a couple of showers, but plenty of dry time on Saturday, 68. It's cool Sunday and Monday. The high temperature each day, 64, with some scattered showers. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloored.com. Give them an opportunity to earn your business this Memorial Day weekend. You'll be glad you did. Michael's Flooring Outlet is online at igotfloored.com, but you can visit them in 3 different locations. This family-owned and operated business in St. Louis for over 3 decades. They've been working hard to make sure people like you are fully satisfied and become repeat customers with your flooring purchase. You can visit them in St. Charles County on Main Street, right there in Old Town, St. Peters, at Mid Rivers and Highway 70. You can visit them in West County on Olive Boulevard, just 1 mile off 270 West on Olive. You can also check them out at Dardine Prairie, their Dardine Prairie location. Shopping for flooring is exciting. It will just bring brand new life into your home. If you're looking for a hardwood line, they've got the Techwood Plus line there that you can check out. The carpeting, the Smart Strand Silk line. They have the top products. You have a whole bunch of options available, but with the advisement of the best customer sales staff in the business, they are going to make sure that you get to secure the quality and value that you are searching for. Find them online at igotfloored.com.
If it's time for new windows, there's only one place to call. That is Window World. Mark Cox here. Call my friends at Window World at 314-993-1800 for your free estimate today. If you have any questions, they'll be glad to send someone out to explain all of it to you. You can even schedule right online at windowworldstl.com. You know, there's a lot of high-interest financing out there, but here's what Window World's doing. Right now, they're offering 18 up to 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. You can't beat that. You also get a lifetime warranty that covers all of the parts, the glass breakage, and labor. Who else stands behind their product like that? Over half the appointments Window World will set this year are from previous customers or referrals from those customers. That is a testimony to their customer service, their quality, and their commitment to creating loyal customers. That's what you get with Window World. Call them at 314-993-1800, windowworldstl.com.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
They got someone here knows what they're talking about.
Left up, left right, gotta love this American ride.
You need to take some time to get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
It sure is, and it's a Friday at 2:07 as we are about to embark on a Memorial Day weekend. We want to thank here from the Annie Fry Show all of those people who have loved ones who died protecting our freedom here, the true meaning of Memorial Day. But we also use this as an opportunity to extend our full and complete and undying gratitude to those people who have answered the call to serve, who have been part of keeping this country free, and especially commemorating those who have lost their lives doing so. We're going to take phone calls here if we get them. Sometimes we throw things out like this and we think, oh, this is going to be a really good thing. And every once in a while, we don't usually get no calls. Every once in a while, it'll be like, no, people don't want to talk about this. And then other times we'll ask something silly like this, and then everybody wants to talk about it. We never know. I'm going to put it out there. If you want to give us your thoughts on the YouTube live chat poll, we'll get to it. But I'm also going to Jesse Waters is always talking about rules for men. And he said earlier this week on his show that his next book is going to be Rules for Men. So I'll be very interested to see what he has to say there. If you want to call us, and if you heard us talking before, if you have any thoughts on this, we're asking you today, who communicates better, men or women? 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. Before we do that, we can briefly answer this question. Ryan, your thoughts on who communicates better between men and women?
I said men because they are more to the point.
Brad?
I think it's men as well.
Pretty to the point.
I mean, I didn't have
Same
anything
reason
else
as
to add.
Ryan.
What do you mean the same reason as Ryan?
Men are more to the point.
Okay, I guess we're doing a thing here. That's really great for an hour of radio. Thank you. I appreciate it.
But you can fill in.
Oh, you're damn right I can.
What?
And when I do it on my show, it's not even called filling in.
You're right.
Isn't
when
it?
I do it, it's called filling in.
On my show.
Yeah.
Yes.
So who communicates better?
Right now, I think we're both doing a pretty good job.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
I think that women communicate better. I think women value communication more than men. I think men are more direct and to the point about things that they care about, but men are not direct and to the point about a lot of things that matter that make them uncomfortable. So if you're in a relationship with somebody and if there's an emotion involved, if men do not spend time communicating their emotions and their feelings. There are some men that do. There are certainly always exceptions. There are certainly women, if you say women do communicate their emotions and their feelings, there are certainly women who don't. I'm probably one of them. But when it comes to things that are actually being discussed, like it's almost more of a not like, in my estimation here, it's not only about when communication happens, who does it better. The willingness to participate in communication is also part of it. And it is my assessment, which you guys could correct me if I'm wrong, that men prefer to communicate in general about things as little as possible. The necessary amount as they see fit, but not more than the necessary amount. They are not going to communicate for what they deem to be communication for communication's sake.
I'll add this to the conversation. Once you get
thanks.
You're welcome. And this is just
Okay, I'm start this segment with it's 2:07, and then we finish that conversation. I'm like, it's 2:08.
I was already done with it.
Yeah.
But because this is how I earn a paycheck, I need
For
to
now.
communicate more.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to add this. When you get a guy going, he will talk for a long time, though.
Sure.
Especially about something that he is super interested in.
Well, I'm not talking about that's not something you're super interested in. Is
No,
that's
yeah,
not
I'm not even
communication.
saying
That's
that
just
either.
that's just talking.
I'm saying about whatever topic, if you really if you can crack the door open, get it to go,
Yes.
then it goes.
Which requires the absolute right person to participate in that communication.
Yes.
Probably a spouse, depending on the subject matter.
Or very good friend.
A best bud, a lifelong friend, maybe a family member, maybe it's your parent if you're blessed to be able to have your parents around or whatever. But there are certainly things that women want to talk about that maybe don't need to be talked about as much as they decide need to be talked about. But in the converse of that, there are absolutely things that if men would be more open or willing to communicate, to discuss, and that doesn't mean you have to have a cry session, to get to something that's frustrating you, bothering you, worrying you, causing you anxiety or stress. Men don't jump into that conversation.
Here's another one. Do you think overall men like talking politics more than women?
Like politics? Because politics happen everywhere.
Interpret as you will. Yeah, politics. I mean, yes.
No,
I'm talking about
I mean, like,
national
if you're
issues.
talking office politics, no.
No, I'm not.
No, I don't know. I don't know that that's a fair assessment in 2025. I think the subject matter will certainly change. I think that the policy that will be discussed in a political conversation will differ. The frequency would differ between men and women, probably pretty consistently. But if you're talking about grocery prices, men and women care about that a lot, and they're both going to talk about it. It probably just looks a little different in the way it's discussed. I don't know. We are such outliers in this because we just do it every day.
Yeah, somebody said in the chat that they think the three men in the room aren't necessarily representative of all men because it is our job to talk.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that could be skewed a little bit.
if you want to give us a call, 314-241-9797. I'm going to just say we'll take phone calls throughout the rest of the hour if you want to jump in here. But Ethan's also screening them to make sure that the call that comes on is a quality phone call. So 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. Who communicates better, men or women? Like I said before, I think women default to communication. I think men resort to communication. I think men communicate when they decide they have to. And that's why I think women are better at it.
Do you find yourself to be a person who people feel comfortable talking politics with because they know where you're from already?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
It's an unfair fight. Everywhere I go, people will approach me, and it usually starts with some sort of political thing. And I don't mind it. I like it. I mean, as long as you're not making people around us uncomfortable, I don't mind that at all. People feel comfortable telling me things just in general. It's not just about politics, but I don't tell people things that people tell me. You can tell me a secret, and I will honor that confidence completely and wholeheartedly.
And the best way to do that is if you see Annie, you approach her and you tell her straight up, I need to tell you a secret.
Yeah. And I'm like,
and she's like, all right,
let's go.
I'll put it in the vault.
All right. Tim's calling the Annie Fry Show. You can too. 314-241-9797. Tim, men or women, who communicates better?
I have to say men, given that I'm a communication instructor. I from what I've seen interacting with students over the years, it's odd. A lot of the female students really never open up much in class, like for presentations and all these other things. But it seems that men, for the most part, are much more open. But I do have to agree with you, Annie, that like office politics, I think women are more likely to engage in stuff like that. So there's one area I agree on. But
wouldn't you
maybe
say,
throughout
Tim,
their life, I would have to say men.
Wouldn't you say, Tim, that public speaking and public presentation is different, though, than like a broad overview of communication?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that point right there.
I think men would be,
so.
to your point, as a communication instructor as well, I think that men by default, and of course exceptions to every rule exist, I, again, am one of those people, men by default are likely going to be more comfortable in a public setting speaking to a public group than women. And women are going to be more comfortable in a intimate setting, a small group having a conversation maybe than men would.
I agree with that as well. I do, just from seeing that over the years. So
yeah, well, that's
absolutely.
Interesting. Thank you.
Well, appreciate you taking my call. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening, Tim. We appreciate it. Got professionals listening, professional communicators.
Well, that's an
on
interesting
this show.
point that says if a guy gets up to publicly speak, he's making a point. Would that make guys better if they're more direct?
Guys, I say guys. Ladies, I only have men calling in.
Yeah, keep doing that, please.
Let's talk about who wants to over-communicate now. Women, 314-241-9797. Get on the phone. And they're going to call in and be like, men are better. We'll see.
Or speaking of falsetto if you're a guy.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you.
Oh. That's not falsetto. Joshua, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. Who's the better communicator, men or women?
I think men are. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
The reason I say that is a lot of times we'll speak frankly, but if it goes into the more emotional or softer side of things, a lot of times women don't want to hear that, or it can be used against us. So I think
Wait. Let's dive into that. You're saying that if men by default speak more frankly, direct to the point, that if it does end up going deeper than that and in a more emotionally driven context or sensitive context, that women don't want that?
Yeah, and I think it can be held against us or used against us. Like they want the man to be the rock or that solid foundation, and if there's ever a chink there or like they see a vulnerability, it's almost like a turnoff or a negative thing for the man.
Joshua, are you talking about like in a private context between two committed people that the sensitivities can be used against, or is this happening at like open mic?
Yeah, probably more of a private conversation. Yes.
Yeah. Oh man, do you guys feel like that? That if you were,
I don't, but I hear what he's saying.
Yeah, I think what he's talking about is maybe not to the point where marriage is, but in the dating
more of a
stage,
courtship.
yeah, in the courtship stage.
Joshua, you're talking like pre-marriage conversation? Like if you're in a committed relationship or a dating relationship and you were to get vulnerable, that's a turnoff for women who are not, committed by marriage.
Yeah, once if you have a like a dedicated spouse, I don't think that's the case. You're there through thick and thin. But yeah,
I got the old ball and chain. We're way past that. But that's really interesting, Joshua. I appreciate that context because that makes a little more sense to me. That you're kind of like people say they want men to be sensitive, but then you're saying you say that, but you don't mean it.
Yes.
Ugh, that sucks.
There's truth in that, though.
Mm-hmm. Joshua, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it.
Thanks for taking me.
You bet. All right, let's talk to more men on the Annie Fry Show. There's men everywhere.
Hi, Randy.
Go home.
I'm not Randy. This is Wanda.
I don't know what I was going to call you by your female name, but I'm like,
it's Randy. Randy could be a girl's name.
I know, but you're talking to her as you.
You're right.
I was going to dive into the bit, and I'm like, I'm so confused. He's not communicating well, but I don't know if he's a man or a woman.
Wait,
so I don't know how it applies.
3D chess, maybe men aren't as good as communicating, and that's the point I was making.
That's not a sentence. I love it when Ryan is... this.
I'm 3 beers in, man.
Okay, 314-241-9797. Greg, thanks for calling the show. Men or women, who communicates better?
Well, the last relationship I was in, when we broke up, she told me, she rattled off a list of things that bothered her. And she was the one who originally said, we need to make sure we communicate.
Yeah.
Okay, if these things were bothering you, why didn't you tell me that to begin with?
Ooh. Did you say that
Women
to her?
do not communicate. Yeah, I told her that. I told her you don't communicate. It's like, come on.
What did she say?
Oh, she just rattled off little things like me telling a joke when I shouldn't be telling a joke. I mean, just different scenarios of being around people and trying to act like a goofball every once in a while instead of,
Is your name Randy?
Like no.
Is it Wanda?
You just sound like you're talking to us about 20 years ago, Ryan Wiggins. And Ryan found a lovely lady.
Yeah, no, her and I are gone. Unfortunately, I loved her to death. She was my world, but she did not communicate with me, and that was the downfall of our relationship.
Well, Greg, I'm sorry to hear that, but it was good that you were honest with her, and hopefully maybe we'll find a lovely lady out here. Maybe we'll just spend the rest of the hour making magic.
All I can say to her is, goodbye, Sue. I love you with all my heart and soul.
Oh man, I hope Sue is listening too.
Sue, we got a Sue Thomas. She's married.
Well, I don't think Sue Thomas.
Sue.
No.
Sue, Greg loves you and wants to see you again. Maybe, I don't know.
And what's your song request?
Love to. This guy's in love with you by Herb Alpert.
Okay.
There we go.
Ethan,
you got it.
Greg, we're gonna say a prayer for you. We hope it works out for you. Thanks for the phone call.
Thanks. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Greg is
I've never done this kind of radio before.
I know. It's like Dr. Drew.
No.
Greg is saying
not
something.
Yet.
His love line. That Josh was kind of saying too.
What does the rash look like?
That women would say, I want you to communicate more. But then, well, I guess kind of opposite sides of the same coin, though. Because Josh was saying they don't actually want you to communicate more. Greg was saying, well, I tried, but she wasn't actually communicating.
Yeah. Or maybe you were communicating in ways that did not land on the other side.
Yeah.
So you were miscommunicating. All right, I have to take a break, but Terry and Mandy, I got 2 ladies in waiting.
Man, what is this show?
I don't know.
Stay on the line. We want to find out how this ends.
Terry, Mandy, but Dave and Jason, you guys are up as well in the next segment. 314-241-9797. Who communicates better, men or women? What a fun Friday afternoon. We'll be right back.
I must do what's right. Sure as Kilimanjaro rises like Olympus above the Serengeti.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
STS-Armory.com. I want to encourage you this weekend to go visit STS-Armory, and they're in Pontoon Beach. Brand new,
beautiful location for you to get the help that you need, the guidance, the access that you need to maybe purchase the new firearm you've been looking at, trying to add a new conceal firearm to what you have. Maybe you want to change, maybe you want to trade, maybe you want to buy used, maybe you want to buy new. They usually have a little bit of everything, and they can help you get what you're looking for. And if you have questions about, it's Illinois, can I do this, or can I have that accessory or that modification? They know the answers to those questions. They are in the front of all of the breaking news that happens in the state of Illinois when it comes to the Second Amendment. They are amazing resources. Call them 618-931-GUNS, 618-931-GUNS, or visit them at their brand new location right there in Pontoon Beach, Illinois, and you can ask them about the merchandise you might be looking for, but also the classes that they teach, including conceal and carry classes, conceal and carry renewal classes, even basic classes. STS-armory.com.
Mizzou football is here to stay. After an undefeated home season and a second straight 10-win year, the Tigers are looking for more in 2025.
Eli and the boys have done it again.
With a top 10 transfer portal class and a strong home schedule highlighted by Kansas, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, you don't want to miss out. Get your spot in line by joining the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
If you worry your roof may be damaged from the recent storms, don't trust just anyone. Call my friend Curtis at Corel Roofing for all your repairs. Mark Cox here. Watch out for those out-of-town storm chasers. They hire anybody they can pull together quickly. Corel Roofing is local, and they have crews with over 20 years of experience in the business. They don't overcommit. When other roofing companies do that, quality suffers and customer service drops off. They pay a lot of attention to details. They use quality materials, and you can trust their workmanship. I'm trusting Curtis Corel to fix my roof. You can trust him as well. They also specialize in all the luxury line roofing, slate, architectural shingles, metal roofs, and other luxury shingles. He's done work for a friend of mine, and it's outstanding. You can call him at 314-222-9529. That's 222-9529. Or on Facebook at Corel Roofing.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
American girls and American guys, we'll always stand up and salute. We'll always recognize when we see old glory flying. There's a lot of men dead, so we can sleep in peace.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Who communicates better, men or women? That's the YouTube live chat poll for today. I haven't even peeked at the results yet. I haven't even cheated like I do every single day. Oh my gosh, they're so close. This is amazing. Annie Fry YouTube channel. I'm going to tell you right now, it's 51-49. On the results of the poll, but I'm not going to tell you who's winning.
That's really close.
It's almost as close as it can get.
It's like 1 point off from being tied.
So we've taken phone calls so far, all from men. And are we 100% on phone calls that men are better communicators?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if what I hear a lot of men saying, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, and we're going to get to Terry, Mandy, Dave, and Jason here in just a second. Men are saying that they're better communicators because they don't understand women?
No, they're saying by virtue of being willing to call in and talk about it, that they're better communicators.
Well, that's not the point that they were verbally making, but maybe in action. All right, let's get to Terry. Terry, thank you for calling the Annie Fry Show. Men or women, who is better at communicating?
I say men. I mean, I'm sorry.
All right.
I say women.
And why is that?
I want it. Yeah, I thought Annie could use a little bit of support here.
Thank you.
And I've been listening for a while. I feel generally that women are the nurturers. I mean, that's what they say about us.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to think that our kids, our families, our friends are going to feel open to talking about whatever it is that the subject that comes up. Everybody's got a perspective. We want to hear it. We want to weigh things. We want to have a discussion. And for men, it seems like, so far it's either that they're talking about their partners, which is a different story, really, the person that you're the closest to.
Yeah.
But men, it seems like they want to talk about the subjects that they're interested in, cars or music or mechanic or
So
whatever.
men want to talk about what men want to talk about, and they feel like they're really good at it.
Yeah, I think so. And when it comes to talking about feelings or emotions, then they get uncomfortable, or sometimes they rattle on and they're not speaking clearly. I have that problem with my partner.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you saying? What are you saying? I'm not understanding. Tell me in a different way, because I want to understand. I want to communicate. And boy, it's not easy no matter who you're talking to, men or women sometimes.
Brad, do you agree with her? You were doing some eyebrow furrowing.
I'm still trying to figure out what she's saying. No.
Again. Terry's like, I'm on to you.
I don't know.
Brad's afraid of Terry.
I'm just listening really hard to make sure that you're not my Terry, and I don't think that you are.
No, you're not. I would not do that to you.
No.
In a way, I hear what you're saying. I would still disagree because, like, I don't know, wanting to talk about your feelings, to me, as a guy, this is me personally, I don't know how much good that actually does if you can't come to a resolution for talking about it. So to me, talking has to have a purpose. We're trying to get from A to B and we're trying to solve something. And like if I'm angry and I'm upset about something, me just saying I feel angry or upset, or if I'm saying I feel sad or happy about something, I don't know that that actually advances the conversation. And those are my emotions. And in that situation, I'm the only one that can work through those emotions.
Right. You're making a point, Brad, I think. But if people say that they're angry, then that's when I guess that we have to walk away for a few minutes, take a deep breath, count to 10 like they used to tell us, and then come back and try to iron out by continuing the communicating. It's not easy. And I've lived almost 70 years, and I'm still learning that.
Yeah.
Terry, and a lot of my friends and family, you know, they think that I'm a little bit too aggressive or assertive sometimes in conversation, but I'm looking for a solution.
And Terry, don't you think, too, that especially in a relationship situation, that if one partner is angry or, you know, emotional, and I don't use that in a negative sense, but emotional in some way, shape, or form about an issue, that those emotions don't only affect the one person in the relationship, that those emotions do affect both people in that relationship. And then if especially if it's anger or disappointment or sadness or hurt or something, that being willing to convey those emotions within the relationship, that would help get to a resolution, assuming you're talking with somebody who loves you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. But
Terry,
we have to be willing.
Go ahead. Yeah, I was just going to say thank you for
No.
calling in and giving me some support. I appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely. Have a great weekend, you guys.
You as well. Bye-bye.
Thanks for what you do. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Terry. Anything to add, Ryan, before I get to the next caller?
No, I didn't really know what Brad was talking about.
Betrayal.
Yeah, this is like intragender.
Yeah. No, it's
Never
not.
said that on
It's
the
really
show.
just Brad.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get to Mandy and see what Mandy has to say about it.
Brad.
Okay. Yeah, Mandy, how do you feel about Brad? Just kidding. Who communicates better,
I
men
had
or
a
women?
whole spiel until I heard Terry.
What do you? Well, give us your thoughts, Mandy. What do you think?
Actually, a little background. I am from the military and law enforcement background, so I work with a lot of men for a long time. And communication, you know, generally isn't emotional with men. Our AB conversations were never like that. But I feel like in my interpersonal that females are definitely better
And
with
what
communicating.
do you think that's like biological? Is it just the function of our brains that causes that to be the case?
That's what I think. I think we're more caring, more nurturing I'm a mommy of 4, and it just kind of happens that way.
And I think there are strengths. I'm sure you've witnessed this from a very first person position, both with military and with law enforcement, that if communication or nurturing is a strength of females more often than not, that there are absolutely strengths that are more often present with men, you know, that they might have that are more
Correct.
frequently visible in men that women don't have. But
Correct.
you're saying communication more to the female side.
Yes, and when it comes to taking care of children and everything, that's more towards the female side where communication would be more open.
I appreciate that. Mandy, thank you for your service and thank you for calling in today. Have a happy Memorial Day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye. Anything to add? Do you know what we're talking about?
I don't know. I'm kind of checked out.
Brian.
The women keep talking, and all I hear is just like.
Tim is calling the Annie Fry Show. Tim, thank you for calling in. Who communicates better, men or women?
Sure. Well, I'll have to say I'm a teacher.
Okay.
I like to think that I can communicate, except women get context much earlier than men. Let's face it. Earlier
Ryan?
this week, you were talking about guys not picking up on the context.
Yeah.
If they pick up on the context, wonderful. Then they are better communicators. Well, women pick up on the context quicker than men. They're more experienced at it. They're doing it, and you can probably vouch for this, in junior high. Guys are going blah, blah, blah in junior high.
What do you mean the context? I don't even understand the context of the comment.
Understand that all of communication is context. Just like earlier this week, Annie Fry talked about the responses from things that men say, things that women say. Well, as she was talking about, it all depends on the context.
Yeah.
So you're saying
And
we got to read
women-
between the lines better, which means men are
Yeah,
better
we
direct
do,
communicators.
we don't. That doesn't mean we can't, but we have to work harder at it. They get it much earlier. They start much earlier than we do.
So it's all the code language that you're talking about that we have a tough time picking up on.
Yeah, that's why they communicate better, because we don't get the secret decoder ring early enough.
Dang it, that argument could go either way.
I would think that a secret decoder, like good communication skills, wouldn't require a secret decoder ring.
But
Well, how about this? Communicating is still a skill.
Yeah.
You still have to practice it. And women get a better practice earlier in their lives. They learn skills earlier.
Tim, thank you. You're the first person to call in and say the other gender communicates better. I appreciate it. What I hear from you boys is that you men, I should say, is that you feel that you communicate, your output is much more effective than female output, but you struggle a lot with the input. Do you get it?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Are you serious? Are you? Because this joke, you've done the same joke like 12 times in this segment.
I know, but it's pretty good.
Well, are you joking or are you serious?
I don't know.
Okay, I can't do
Okay,
this.
so-
Let's get to Dave. Dave, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. Your thoughts, who communicates better, men or women? Dave?
Oh, this
Yeah.
is an easy one to answer.
Okay.
You know, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good. How do you answer it
Okay.
easily?
All you have to do is just ask a woman what she wants to have for dinner.
Yeah?
She can't communicate that.
Dave, maybe you
Yeah,
should just
the guy,
surprise her
he'll
and
tell
take
you
her out for a
exactly
nice
what he
dinner.
wants.
You just take her out to a nice place, Dave. Surprise her, flowers, nice bottle of wine.
Andrea's.
But I like to have a woman's input, what she would like.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to even challenge you on that, Dave. I don't think you want to input on what she would like. You just want to make sure you don't take her somewhere she doesn't like. Is that
No,
possible?
I'm happy to go to where I want to go. I don't have a problem with that.
When you ask a woman where she wants to go eat for dinner, are you married, Dave?
Yes.
Okay. Do you still, into your marriage, have the same difficulty, where do you want to eat? I don't know. You pick, and then you say something. She's like, I don't want to go there. Like the whole back and forth. Is that still happening in your marriage?
Absolutely. Ask any guy. He goes through it all the time.
Here, okay.
Are you back?
Are we finding something? Yeah, I'm kind of getting there. Are we finding something here that maybe men process a decision internally before communicating, whereas women communicate the process? Is that a general? Can we say that that's true?
I'm not sure about that. Well, here's something else. Okay? A woman will have a whole conversation in her head.
That's what I just said.
And then
If only you guys could communicate with one another.
and then she'll make a comment about that, to you out loud
Yeah.
and expect you to know what that whole conversation was she had in her head.
Oh, yeah?
Wait, no, I said the
How is
opposite of
that
that.
communicating?
Dave, we're getting more confused here.
This is going so poorly.
Thank you for the phone call, Dave. Ryan hasn't answered your question. You take her to Andrea's. That's what you need to do. We'll talk. We'll call back again soon, Dave. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, we solved that.
Don't you think there's a higher propensity of men who don't understand what the women are thinking, where women understand a lot more? Men feel like they don't know what their woman wants more frequently than a woman feels like she doesn't know what her man wants.
Yes, I would say more frequently. That's true.
Thank you. And women, I can't even really think of a scenario where is there a movie that's about a woman who just can't figure out what her man wants? It seems like so weird. Every woman knows what her man wants.
Yeah. No, I can't think of any movies.
So you men are saying that men are better communicators because you just don't understand your women or understand women.
Is that what we're saying?
No.
Well, explain it to me in a better way.
Men just want to know what you want. What do you want? Say the words, I want, and then say what it is.
Light bulb moment. What women want is to not have to draw you a map to everything that exists when it comes to a relationship. That's like a woman saying, "Do I look pretty?" And then the man goes, "Yeah, you look pretty." That doesn't feel as good as a man going, "Hey, you look great, honey." So, could we be talking about a huge variety of things from very serious to very, very mundane? Yes. Do you feel like men, what percentage of what a man is trying to do to satisfy a healthy relationship with the female in their life, how much of it is to make her as happy as you possibly can, and how much of it is to keep yourself out of as much trouble as you possibly can?
Aren't those things close?
No.
Hear this. The man is trying to communicate facts and solve problems. I would say those are the main two things that a man is talking through.
Say that again.
Communicating facts, just information, and solve problems.
And what women don't want to be is a problem to solve.
I am learning that.
Do you understand what I'm saying now?
I'm serious.
I'm glad that you said
all
that.
the joking aside, I'm learning that right now in my own marriage.
No woman wants to be the person that, the very fragile thing in that the man is holding in their hands, just trying not to F it up. Like, no woman wants to be that. There is a participation. Like, Brad, you're saying, like, we want facts. We want to get directly to the point. We need to know what we need to do. That is completely unsatisfying from a female standpoint. If the frame of mind, like, I understand that that's how men think, and there's nothing wrong with men thinking that way because I think God made men that way on purpose. But what women don't want to be, no woman wants to go through life, I don't think any person wants to go through life being a constant problem that needs to be solved. And that's how women, like, if women are internalizing that, like, all he's ever doing is trying to keep me steady, which is why I asked the question, like, how much of what you do to communicate is to truly just see her be happy versus how, and I think every relationship, and I would certainly say mine included, how much is invested to absolutely see her be happy because you love her. And I would say in the healthy relationships I know men work because they thrive off of making her happy. But there are ebbs and flows in every relationship where that goes away from trying to just genuinely do things that make her smile. And it goes into the other place where it's, I'm just trying to stay out of trouble. And where it's, I'm just trying to stay out of trouble. I mean, like, that could shift in the matter of one day. Where it started in the morning like, oh, everything's happy. Something happened. Maybe had nothing to do with you, but you realized the situation here has changed. Now I need to make sure that I don't trip over something obvious here and get myself in trouble. Women can tell when men are trying to stay out of trouble, and it makes them feel like they're being managed. And that doesn't feel like an equal partnership. If you have, and you know, like, I'm sorry, Jared, I'm putting you out there and you're probably listening right now. But in conversations where Jared and I have had conflict before, and something hurt my feelings, and I know intellectually that the last thing that he ever wants to do on the face of this planet would be to hurt me, and that what hurt my feelings was, like, if I explain it to him, and this requires communicating and saying words out loud that might be uncomfortable, but the situation is uncomfortable to begin with. If I explain, like, this is how I interpreted that, it devastates him that I was hurt by it, because the last thing he wants to do is hurt me. He can't know that unless I tell him that your very innocent intended situation, or maybe something that he was like adjacent to but wasn't actually him, made me feel this way. He has said to me enough times in our life, and I truly believe him, he's like, all I want to do is make you happy. And if there's a time where, like, maybe I got some stressor or something going on in my life, and I know that I am kind of becoming not as we all go through this, moments where, like, gosh, I don't think I'm as fun to be around as I usually am, because I'm just carrying a heavy load that might have to do with an enormous amount of things. That if I do that and my husband shifts out of I'm trying to make her happy to, gosh, I hope I don't tick her off. As soon as a woman acknowledges that we're in the phase where he's just trying not to make me angry, that doesn't make a woman feel good. I don't know how you come out and just say that, though. Does that make sense?
100%. 100%.
Hey, high five.
I think we got there. Man, it's taken almost an hour, maybe longer.
Good thing we had time to kill.
I think we got there. That is a really important fact that I feel like, honest to God, that God is teaching me right now about how to communicate with my wife. That it's like how I think about her, not necessarily how I communicate with her. It's more that I think about her, not as somebody that I'm, and it sounds so cold and terrible, but somebody I'm managing.
Oh, sure.
Versus somebody who is.
And there are times where she probably
wife.
Feels like she's managing you, and you might realize that, and it probably doesn't make you feel great. I mean, I think that's a natural ebb and flow of a relationship. The healthy relationship will openly acknowledge, gosh, things aren't really going great right here for any set of circumstances that are influencing this. I need to make sure that the person knows, even if I'm not really executing this A+, I really just want to make you happy. And my husband is so good at that, and I am not good at that. Like, I am always, that is an active process for me to do things simply because I want to see him be happy. Not because it's A, the right thing to do, B, it's the necessary thing to do, that because I love him, I am in pursuit constantly of making him happy. He's very good at that. I am not. We each have our strengths and weaknesses. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Ethan, I want you to give a shout out to the person in your family who you messaged us about in the chat. We'll do that when we come back. Make sure we acknowledge that. Very cool. And the YouTube live chat poll, this has been a very interesting one. We are approaching 200 votes, and it is still really close. Who communicates better, men or women? I wonder what the gender breakdown of our audience is. I wonder if it is reflected here in these results. Let's take a quick break. We'll wrap it up and hand it over to the Mark Reardon Show in just a minute.
Who looks at you the way I do? When you smile, I can tell we know each other very well.
It took us a minute, but we got the song. This is Herb Alpert. This Guy's in Love with You. And it went out by request from Greg to Sue.
I've heard some talk. They say you think I'm fine. Yes, I'm in love. And what I do to make you mine? Tell me now, is it so? Don't let me.
Well, Meanwhile, while Greg and Sue work things out, if you're looking to buy or sell a home,
you sure?
For whatever particular reason, the Dittamore Group can help you do that. Missouri and Illinois alike, they're located in the Metro East, and they are the #1 team in the #1 office in the Metro East with RE/MAX Alliance. The Dittamore Group can flex their muscles helping you list your home. It doesn't matter where you are on the timeline of wanting to sell your house. If you want to sell it super fast, the Dittamore Group can absolutely do that for you. I follow Zach Dittamore on Facebook, and there are often times where he's like, we just listed this house and we just sold this house. Just very quickly turn around. They're very good at putting you in a position for success, being honest with you, helping you manage that listing and presentation in a way that's going to garner the top value of what that home is worth. You just need to call them to start the conversation. Even if you're just thinking about it, you're kind of curious about what might be able to, what you might be able to get for the listing of your home. 618-531-4652, 618-531-4652. And you can look them up online and learn a little bit about them. Their reputation precedes themselves. They are wonderful people. They are great to work with, and they're the best. TheDittamoreGroup.com.
Just a reminder to have your air conditioner checked for the summer so you don't have a mishap and it goes down in the hottest day of the year. But it's always best to have it done. Call us, and we'll be more than happy to come out there and check it for you. And like always, if you're having your furnace checked by another company and you are told that this is the year you need to replace it, call me for a second opinion. The 0% interest is still available on most brands. Save your cash and keep your credit cards open and away from those high rates. Call me. You'll be glad you did. Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest. It is 314-293-2600. Or on the website, bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
You care about every detail, and so does Purina. Every ingredient in their pet food comes from trusted sources, and every ingredient has a purpose. Whether that purpose is to provide just the right nutrients your pet needs or a flavor they will love, Purina has over 250 recipes made without artificial flavors or preservatives for you to choose from. You're sure to find something both you and your pet will love. Learn more at Purina.com/Purina Cares.
Do you know what went down at the Viper Room the night River Phoenix died? Are you aware of how Steve McQueen escaped death at the hands of the Manson family? But what about the real-life brutal murder that inspired David Lynch's Twin Peaks? These stories and more are told in the Hollywoodland podcast, where true crime and Tinseltown collide. Follow and listen to Hollywoodland wherever you get your podcasts.
A lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, this is my last hope. The next step is getting them in the right arch supports. Our goal is to have that long-term change for them, to see someone that is in pain. I change things for them. See how we can help you with a free fitting at the Good Feet store.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369.
This Memorial Day weekend, bring your crew to Busch Stadium to see the Cardinals take on the D-backs. May 23rd to the 25th, catch great promotions all weekend long, including a Mason Win bobblehead and a Kids City Connect jersey giveaway. Kick off your summer with ballpark hot dogs, ice-cold beers, and entertainment for the whole family. Tickets are available at Cardinals.com. This is how summer is meant to be. See you at the ballpark.
This is Alec Burleson, St. Louis Cardinals, for the Lou.
Hey
Hey parents, looking for something fun and unforgettable to do with the kids? Bring the whole family to a Cardinals game at Busch Stadium. From kid-friendly activities and giveaways to awesome promotions like Kids Run the Bases. Your little ones will have a blast, and so will you. Check out Family Sundays, presented by Smithfield, where select tickets include a free jumbo hot dog and soda. There's nothing like sharing the magic of Cardinals baseball together. Make your memories this summer at Busch Stadium. Tickets are available at cardinals.com.
The YouTube live chat poll today is who communicates better, men or women? We've been discussing it this whole hour. We're going to give the results, which are apparently very, very close. You could tilt the whole thing with one vote, is what I'm told. 253. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. We're getting set to go on a very special holiday weekend edition of the Reardon Roundtable. There's no one in our parking lot right now. It's very, very strange. You would think it's maybe a holiday on Monday, but we have a lot to talk about. Tornado recovery and the BBB and beyond. It all gets rolling here after 3 o'clock. Hang in there.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
I mean, first and foremost, I don't need help. I don't need anything. I can do anything I want.
So that's where you went with that.
But
there's 1,000 different roads.
since I did decide, you know what, maybe it would be good to have a mate.
Oh my God, you are toast. you
enjoy your long weekend.
There are some very key females in your life. And you relegated the most important one down to mating.
Mate.
No,
and
I
said
know.
that you don't need
mate.
anybody and you would do just fine by yourself.
Is that where you cut it off? Because I explained mate and mating right
It was
after
getting too long, Ryan. It's getting too long, and I knew we weren't going to have a lot of time to play it.
Well, I'm going to come back in the Reardon Show and explain mating.
I think that's a great idea. I will make that possible somehow.
It's the Reardon Roundtable, right?
Sure is.
Hang on, before we start, I need to explain something about men and women.
Who ran out of show.
Just like Sonny Hostin having to come back after the commercial break.
Wouldn't that
to
be amazing?
clarify.
Man, if he wants to get a nice solid quarter hour, he should let me do that.
It would be awesome if you would do that for us.
No, I don't want to waste the good stuff on you guys.
Did that sound coming back the same way you said it in your head? Did that sound different?
Nothing
listening?
has sounded real today. I
Okay.
feel like I'm asleep.
Ethan, hit us with the results before we wrap. On the
Microphones
microphone.
help. 203 votes on today's YouTube live chat poll. Who communicates better? Down to the final vote, basically. 52% say men communicate better. 48% say women.
Why'd you rip your shirt off, Ryan? Good grief. Put it back on.
Oh, what a sight.
And again,
It's
I'm
so
going to
gray.
explain. I need you to see this so I can explain mating properly.
All right, I'll be right back. I got to text Mrs. Wiggins. Don't go away.
Just a reminder to have your air conditioner checked for the summer so you don't have a mishap and it goes down in the hottest day of the year. But it's always best to have it done. Call us and we'll be more than happy to come out there and check it for you. And like always, if you're having your furnace checked by another company and you are told that this is the year you need to replace it, call me for a second opinion. The 0% interest is still available on most brands. Save your cash and keep your credit cards open and away from those high rates. Call me. You'll be glad you did. Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest. It is 314-293-2600. Or on the website, bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan are simple, Reach out at 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Stewie's there to guide you through that mortgage process that you have. If you've been looking to buy a home, you know you need a new mortgage. And a lot of times the recommendation comes from you go with a realtor. They've got people. You use those people. And you just kind of go through the process. I want you to consider a second opinion with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage. When you call or text directly to Stewie at 314-324-4440, that's 314-324-4440. He's going to talk to you about the bagel loan. He's going to make sure that that's the best possible deal that you can get. When you get a new mortgage, do a refinance, do a cash out refinance with a bagel loan, you are going to get to the point where you pay no closing costs, $0 in closing costs with the bagel loan. And you can only get the bagel loan with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan at MLS number 226715.
I'm Ultima Morgan. Every year, almost 30,000 babies in America are born with birth injuries. It's every parent's worst nightmare. If your child suffered a birth injury, please call our firm to find out if we can help.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're near